for the Garnet and Gold's elite status. And throw they did against Tulane a week ago. Tight end Warren Hart on the receiving end of 3 Casey Weldon touchdown strikes as the Noles remained unbeaten. The Florida State ground game features a jewel named Amp Lee at tailback. Still another Seminole star in a galaxy of dazzling performers who played for legendary coach Bobby Bowden as he's claimed 207 coaching victories. And speaking of legends, Western Michigan University retired his jersey, number 49. And Floridians now know, too, that Miami's Pro Bowl linebacker John Offerdahl is special. He typifies the intensity of Coach Al Moldy's Mid-American Conference Broncos. And record-setting quarterback Brad Tales will become a mythical figure in football lore if Western Michigan upsets FSU. Sunshine Network, Florida's best, proudly presents America's best, Florida State Seminole football. Tonight, for the first time in history, Western Michigan faces FSU. Our game brought to you by NCNB National Bank of Florida, The Lone Source, by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. By Gooding, Florida's finest supermarket. It's got to be Gooding. By the Olive Garden, Italian restaurants, where all the best of Italy is yours. And by your Florida Jeep Eagle dealer, where you can always expect the best. The capital city of Florida serves as the capital city of the world of college football. We are in Tallahassee, and 60,000 fans, a capacity crowd, are turning out this evening for two high-powered offenses in the Broncos of Western Michigan and top-ranked Florida State. Hello once again. Welcome to the best in college football on Sunshine Network with former FSU headhunter Keith Jones. I'm Paul Kennedy. Two teams both unbeaten. Western Michigan from Kalamazoo at 2-0, and the Seminoles with that victory over Tulane also at 2-0. And you mentioned 2-0. How about 207? Bobby Bowden picked up number 207 and beating Tulane last Saturday here.
Ties him on the all-time list with Jess Neely. If he gets 208 tonight, he'll move ahead of him. And I tell you, 207 is his second active coach. He's chasing Joe Paterno, who's doing quite well up at Penn State.
You mentioned Jess Neely. He captained the Vanderbilt Commodores when Vandy was good to a win over the Michigan Wolverines in 1922. Which Michigan is Florida State thinking about tonight, the Wolverines or the Broncos?
Well, one would think they're looking forward to 2 weeks from now up in Ann Arbor, but I tell you, Michigan State found out today from Central Michigan, you best not look ahead. I hope they're looking on Western Michigan today.
Florida State a week ago diversified its offense, and Warren Hart had a big night. 3 separate touchdown receptions, and that hasn't happened here in 13 years.
Not since 1978. 3 big touchdowns from a very big man, 250-plus pounds, known for his blocking, showed he had some great hands.
In rolling to a 2-0 mark, Western Michigan has played well behind an all-star quarterback. Brad Tales can chuck the rock.
He really can. Approaching 5,000 yards of total offense in his career, and he's just in his second game as a junior. He can really, really play, and inexperience won't be a problem tonight. He's making his 25th consecutive start.
Like so many universities, Western Michigan recruits the state of Florida, and they have found a gem from Miami and Killian High School, a 3-year letterman named Eric West. He'll play corner tonight.
He really will. He anchors the secondary back there from Western Michigan. On the other side, they've got 2 sophomores that lettered as freshmen. They're going to look to West to be the leader back there. Big, strong, fast, 900. He can stay with just about anybody.
When Western Michigan's plane arrived in Tallahassee yesterday, it was 101 degrees. Let's check in on the field right now with our own Barry Milligan and get an update. Barry, it's warm here in Doak Campbell.
Paul, it is incredibly humid on the field tonight and has been all week in Tallahassee. Now, that is contrasted in a big way by the fact that in Kalamazoo, Michigan today, it was 67 degrees, quite seasonal indeed. But just before the game, there was a shower that broke the heat. But even so, just before game time, the temperature on the field was at an even 100 degrees. And that doesn't bother the Seminole coaches very much. They practiced hard this week, and they're ready for it.
Keep that jacket off, Barry. Gonna be a little warm down there. The field is dry, and more than 60,000 fans await your return for our opening kickoff next, the Broncos and the Noles. The Western Michigan Broncos. And next year in the ACC, but currently a top-ranked independent, FSU. And Chief Osceola renews the tradition of the Garnet and Gold in Doak Campbell. Florida State with victories over Brigham Young on the West Coast in Anaheim in the Kickoff Classic. And last week here, as we mentioned, the win over Tulane. Right now, FSU atop the stack. Miami is ranked second. You see the Gators, who host Alabama tonight in the number 6 slot. Michigan, who FSU will next face, ranked third. On the other half of that, go to number 18. And Michigan State. Michigan State faces Notre Dame next week, but the Spartans under George Perles got caught looking ahead, and a Mid-American Conference team today, Keith, made them pay for it.
Central Michigan did make them pay for it. On the first page there, you'll also note, you hopefully have heard by now, that Michigan was victorious over Notre Dame as well, so a little bit of a shake-up in the top 10 at that level.
For Florida State, resting the ball on the tee is a man who had a great game last week in the triumph over the Green Wave, the freshman from Tallahassee in Dan Mowry. He'll be kicking to Western Michigan's Ulrich King, Corey Silvey, and Elon Banks. King and Silvey, regular offensive performers. Silvey, an all-MAC running back, wears number 27. Twin safeties with King, and the ball is in the air. It bangs off and up back, and will be scooped up at the 12-yard line by Silvey across the 15, and he slides down at the 18-yard line when he ran into Reggie Freeman, the man who made the tackle on the opening kickoff a week ago. And here comes Brad Tales, the all-time record holder at Western Michigan in terms of total offense. You see the numbers for 1991. His teammates tonight offensively, there is Corey Silvey, who brought the opening kickoff back. DeBarda Laban is strong to the fullback. We'll set the offensive line for you in just a moment. A single setback, 3 receivers to open for Western Michigan. Silvey cannot get out of the backfield. Maybe a yard. And into the waiting arms of the nose guard, the senior James Chaney, number 96. Now that offensive line for you. A senior John Manier over the football. And at 330 pounds is the tackle Paul Hutchins. For FSU defensively this evening, Chaney made the opening tackle for us. Ostazuski and Simpson flank him. The linebacking core features Reggie Freeman having a great year. He made our tackle tonight on the opening kickoff. The secondary in just a second. Tales from Windsor, Ontario. The short drop, the gun, and a completion in the flat and close to the first down marker. A senior, and Lavelle Van Horn from Ypsilanti, Michigan, pulled it down. LeVon Brown on the stop. Richard Coase gets the start this evening in place of Leon Fowler. You see his countenance there. Richard, a sophomore from Miami, opens at the free safety position. Last week, Keith, you being an ex-defensive back, can appreciate this. 14 separate players for FSU played in the secondary during the course of the win over Tulane.
I'm not sure that in the 4 years at Florida State I even played with 14 defensive backs. Defensive coordinator Mickey Andrews was telling us that would have played 16, but the other 2 boys were hurt. 4 full sets, full complement back there, 4 deep for Florida State playing.
Tales with good size at 6'3", 200 pounds. He threw for 3 separate touchdowns last week in the victory over Jerry Faust in Akron. That was a career high for him. 3rd and 1. And again, Silvey is the lone setback. Slot right formation. Needing a yard. Silvey cuts right, back left, and he won't get it. Kirk Carruthers, the inside linebacker, led the surge for FSU, and Western Michigan could not get 3 feet. It'll have to give up the football. There is Kirk Carruthers, the second leading tackler last year, and tied for the second leading slot right now. Watch this hit.
Pretty good size back, getting squared up. A little help by Ostrazuski, but Carruthers squares up and then keeps driving, much like we saw Offerdahl do in their opening, with a lot of help from his buddies.
This is a fine punter in Todd Rasthorn. His flags fly. He did not hit this one very hard. Buckley lets it bounce once, twice. It hit a Seminole. It's a loose ball. And it's fallen on by Western Michigan. If the penalty's against FSU, the ball belongs to the Broncos at the Seminole 20-yard line. A Our referee this evening is James Knight. This is an Atlantic Coast Conference officiating crew.
Florida State guilty of jumping off sides at the snap. As you indicated, Paul, the ball did touch a Florida State blocking person, not Terrell Buckley, but someone back to block.
It appeared to hit Tommy Henry. Here is the call.
Defense. Decline.
You're right there, Eagle Eye Keith Jones. And the first turnover will go against FSU. Another look and watch Henry, number 41. It bounds up and hits him.
He's going to try to engage a block, and the ball's going to come right back and hit him right there on his right arm or right shoulder. And very alertly, Western Michigan down to recover. They're an operating 1st and 10, Florida State 21. Mickey is not happy.
This is a Seminole team that rarely turns the ball over. That counts as a turnover. The football rest actually marked at the 21-yard line. And Tales with Sylvie behind him, pitches to Sylvie, who carries it inside the 20 and is stacked up at the 19-yard line. Marvin Jones, the sophomore inside linebacker and the top tackler in this young season for FSU, teamed with the nose guard Cheney on the stop. It's 2nd down and a long 8.
Western Michigan will come with a lot of this one-back set. You'll get so tired of seeing it that you might as well get up and get you a cold drink in the kitchen, because they're going to keep running at you. Linebacker there, Marvin Jones, and Kirk Carruthers are going to have to be active against that one-man set, or they're going to break it into the intermediate zones for big yardage.
On the delay, Sylvie fights his way close to the 15-yard line. Howard Dinkins is at the bottom of the pile for Florida State. That fine pass rusher, the outside linebacker, the senior from Jacksonville. There is Howard.
Dinkins off to a little bit of a slow start. He had a bad back during fall practice, didn't get a lot of work. Ground level look, you're going to see Ostrazusi get off a block, and then Dinkins closed down with the help from Coles. Had a bad back during the fall, Paul. Didn't get a lot of work having to play himself back into playing position.
3 receivers for the quarterback Tales on 3rd and 4, and he's throwing it for the end zone for Teague. Buckley is there with excellent defensive position. It's 4th down. A timing route, trying to get Buckley to bite and then just lob it over Terrell's head, and Buckley was heads up.
King, a very athletic receiver, has 51 receptions in his career coming in tonight. Good coverage by Buckley. The ball overthrown by Tales, but about in the only position he could have thrown it in order to be successful.
Jay Barisi will attempt what will be a 33-yard field goal out of the hold of Tom Dunn. Barisi, a junior. The snap, the spot, the kick, it's in the air. With distance, it's no good. He pushed it to the left. A chip shot after a rare FSU turnover. And that has to shake Western Michigan's confidence.
Coming in as a decided underdog. In fact, such an underdog, there was not a betting line on this game. Western Michigan with the first turnover, unable to capitalize on points. A left-footed kicker. Normally when we talk about pushing the ball will go to the offensive right. But Barisi is a left-footed kicker. He pushes it to his left, and Florida State dodging a bullet after a turnover.
Here's Casey Weldon, the man that threw 3 touchdown strikes a week ago and has 5 on the year without an interception. Weldon at the helm. We'll get the rest of the starters for FSU for you in a moment. Ampley, as always, at the tail, and Amp runs through a tackle at the 20-yard line and turns what was no gain into a pickup of 3. Complimented tonight is Weldon by Lonnie Johnson at the tight end slot. He caught that 78-yard strike from Weldon to open up the last game. Lee, who just carried the ball, along the front line for FSU. There is Reggie Dixon, the player of the week in the triumph over Tulane last Saturday. Twin receivers to the far side, and the starter, Kes McCorvey, along with Shannon Baker. And Lee gets another carry. Darts through the hole. First down, 30, and ahead to the 33.5, maybe 34-yard line. Carl Lopez, the roverback, made the stop after a gain of 11 for Amp Lee. For Western Michigan on defense tonight, this is a 4-man front. Mark Nabosny is tough, the senior out of Wyandotte, Michigan. The linebacking core solid as well. Greg Kelly is a former linebacker who now leads them in tackles. And Tim Osborne, like Eric West, who we met earlier, is a Floridian. He's from Fort Lauderdale, and Dillard High School down south. On 1st and 10, play action for Weldon. Over the middle he goes, and Baker has it at midfield and dives into Bronco country at the 49-yard line. Greg Kelly, the linebacker, had to make the play, but Weldon right on target for a gain of 17 to Shannon Baker.
Look for Florida State to try to exploit the intermediate zones with square ends and hooks. The 40 look of Western Michigan will hopefully enable Florida State to keep those linebackers close with play action. The two deep secondary won't be able to get up. Weldon looks just a little confused there. Nothing to it, Coach. Nothing to it. Give me another play.
Bennett, the fullback, the tailback Lee carrying it for the 3rd time, and boy, this time he didn't fool anybody, including Jeff Aller, the junior linebacker, making his first collegiate start from Utica, Michigan. Number 51 really laid a hammer in there. And when you talk about Western Michigan linebackers, they all play in that Offerdahl tradition.
You talk about hammering. He was actually a shot put specialist in high school. Big track man out of high school. There you see him, 6'1", 240 out of Utica. All three of the linebackers, actually the rover back Carl Lopez, number 13, all three of the inside people can run and hit.
Trying to hit a pass here is Weldon, throwing from his own 43. McCorvey has it across midfield at the Western Michigan 45, and then he's lassoed and brought back by Paul Davis, playing in the nickel, a junior number 20 from Marathon, Florida. There are 5 Broncos we will see this evening. Make that 4 in the secondary, Keith, who hail from the Sunshine State. Davis is 1.
Their skilled people on the defensive side do come from Florida. That time looked like man coverage. McCorvey with a little slow developing drag pattern over the middle. Davis right on him. You know, he's got 100 career tackles coming into the night. A very active free safety.
Let's see if Western Michigan plays base or blitzes here. The back spread wide. Weldon back to pass. The blitz is on, and Casey is going to be sacked back at the 43-yard line. They gambled, and it paid off. Dave Cutler came crashing from the far side, number 58, and he picks up only the 2nd sack this year registered against Casey Weldon. It's a loss of a dozen.
Weldon initially with a lot of time, nobody open. Cutler able to continue working against Edgar Bennett and get upfield. Give that sack to the secondary.
A very high punt off the leg of Scott Player, and the fair catch is called for and made at the 21 by John Morton. Timeout on the field and a scoreless first quarter.
It's no trick. Have a ball this fall with Prime Network's lineup of October treats. First, college football heats up with exciting action from the SEC, SWC, and Pac-10. And let Bill Parcells and Mike Francesa take you around the NFL. But if football's not your game, hit the pavement at the SCCA Texas World Speedway. It's thrills and chills all October long on Prime Network.
This season, the Oregon Ducks join the flock and come to play on Prime Sports Northwest. We're not talking DuckTales. We're talking every play of every game all season long. Just remember, in this game, if somebody yells duck, you better. Get excited. This season, the Oregon Ducks are on Prime Sports Northwest, home of the Pac-10. Oregon takes on Texas Tech for an interconference showdown, Monday, September 16th at 8 Pacific.
Every Wednesday night, Prime Network brings the great outdoors to your living room. From the how-tos of fishing to the nation's most scenic locales, professional outdoorsmen guide you on your journey across the country. From lady anglers landing lunkers to the latest news on hunting, fishing, and conservation. Wednesday nights, leave the city lights behind and escape with Prime Network on your wildest adventure ever.
First down, Brad Tales going airborne. Hunting his intended receiver, Ulrich King, upfield, incomplete at the 33. There is a penalty marker down, however, and Coach Bobby Bowden, who said his ball club did not improve as much as he would have liked from week number 1 to week number 2, is a little bit concerned right now with the way things are going. For head coach Al Moldy, like Coach Bobby Bowden, a veteran of the head coaching ranks collegiately, he's been at 5 separate schools, has won 134 games during his career. He said this really wasn't the biggest game this year for his team. A conference game was much larger that loomed next week. Did you see the holding call go against the Bronx? As Western Michigan must face Toledo. That MAC conference, the Mid-American Conference, showed us all today how tough it is, as number 18 Michigan State fell to Central Michigan. The Chippewas are the defending MAC champions, and this team in Western Michigan is expected to contend. They were 5-3 in the league, 7-4 overall last season. Another flag down. It appeared that Florida State jumped the snap count. Henry Ostaszewski left early. The tackle on Sylvie was made by Carruthers, but this should be academic, and will go 5 yards the other way, as our referee says yes. It's against FSU.
A lot of activities by the Zebras already tonight. You know, in talking with the Florida State coaches, they indicated that it had been a good week of practice, but one of the difficulties,
Defense.
you hear the offside call there, one of the difficulties is trying to keep the young team, the young kids focused, that coaching staff there, keep them focused. See, lack of concentration there by Ostaszewski on the right side, jumping off early. Florida State penalized 5 yards.
John Morton is wide to the near side right. Against Sylvie is the only running back. It appears that Tales is calling the play at the line of scrimmage. Here comes the blitz. He loses the football. Florida State scores a touchdown. Well, wait. It's marked at the 1-yard line.
Defensive team cannot advance the ball once it's fumbled behind the line of scrimmage. So Carruthers scooping it up deftly, but it'll come back to the one. Florida State with their first turnover, ready to go 1st and 10. First and goal.
Cheney hit the quarterback Tales, and the Seminoles fall on it when Carruthers finds the ball.
Carruthers is going to come from the outside. Cheney from kind of a little farther inside on the right side. Both of them converging on Tales. He did try to audibilize
Howard rather than Cheney. 93 from the outside.
Might very well been. Looked like Tales was trying to audibilize at the line, read the defense, read the blitz, but was unable to get the ball off.
You cannot advance a fumble in college football, and the ball was marked down at the 1-yard line. That has to stay. Western Michigan had pounced on an FSU fumble, but unable to convert. Now FSU with an opportunity to put 7 on the board.
You're watching Prime Network.
Do you need a wheelchair lift? Campbell Nelson Volkswagen specializes in wheelchair lift vans. No modifications, very simple to use, and there's a special financial assistance program from Volkswagen. Why don't you come in and try one?
Hi, I'm Chris Olson from Seaview Chevrolet in Linwood. We got a 1981 Ford 3/4 ton extended cab truck, full size with a canopy for $3,495, or an 85 K5 4x4 V8 full size for $5,995. That's Seaview Chevrolet in Linwood.
Stretch your RV dollars now during Customer Appreciation Days at Holiday World RV Centers. Holiday World is having a record year, and they're saying thank you with 15% off the regular price of everything in their huge accessory stores. Special red tag savings on a great selection of new and pre-owned RVs, and tremendous closeout discounts on new 1991 models and factory incentives on selected models. Stretch your RV dollars today. Don't miss the savings during Customer Appreciation Days right now at Holiday World RV Centers in Tacoma and Everett, where RV means real value.
The nation's top team, the week's mightiest matchup, game plans, and strategy. It's all right here. Prime Network presents today's Top 20. Every week on Prime Network. Available on most Prime affiliates.
With 7:41 remaining in the scoreless first quarter with Keith Jones, I'm Paul Kennedy. Chief Osceola has to be a bit more frightful at the moment. His Knoll defense has just forced Western Michigan into its first critical mistake, and Casey Weldon and company are set to make him pay. And he being Brad Tales, the quarterback of the Broncos, for coughing up the football. First and goal for FSU inside the 2-yard line, and the junior center, Robbie Baker, leads the gunman in goal out over the ball. Wing left formation, Bennett the fullback. The man in motion is Hart. Ampli will take the pitch and walk in. Touchdown, Florida State. There is a penalty marker, however, that lays back at the 3-yard line.
By Casey Weldon's
Lined up
Offside
in the neutral zone. Touchdown.
By Casey's call, it was going to go against Western Michigan.
Florida State able to capitalize in just one snap on the fumble.
Good offensive line blocking. Mancini comes down. Patrick McNeil goes out, kicks out. Good block by Bennett, and Lee waltzes into the end zone.
His third touchdown of the season for Ampli. He's been picking up one a week. And here is Mowry. He drills the PAT, and it is 7-0 FSU. With just over 7.5 minutes remaining in quarter number 1. Indo Campbell.
Watch the left-hand side. You'll see a good block by Edgar Bennett. Patrick McNeil coming out. Both of them double teaming on the linebacker, and Lee able to just waltz into the end zone. Not a real demonstrative guy, just hands the ball off to the official and trots back to greet his teammates. I guess you've done it 20-plus times in your career here, Paul. You don't get as excited about it anymore.
The junior from Chipley, Florida, registering the first 7 tonight. This is Parents Weekend here on the campus of Florida State, and where you might think that there would be less than a capacity crowd expected, this is a hard sellout for Western Michigan and FSU. Mowry wiping off that brow on a warm evening in the capital city. Set to kick off a second time. The man on the left, number 27, Corey Sylvie. And the man on the right, Elan Banks, a 168-pound freshman who has but one return this year. Sylvie has popped one for 32 yards. That's his longest return in 2 games. The victory over Kent and the win over Akron. Everybody ready, and here we go. End over end. Oh, he got all of this one on one bounce. That's Richie Andrews type length. That hit 9 yards into the end zone for Mowry, and you can feel his confidence building with every stroke of the leg.
Kicking from the 40 with the 5-yard penalty. He nailed it about 8 yards deep. Chiron folks downstairs didn't get a lot of effort, get real tired doing this one, Paul. 1 play, 1 yard, 3 ticks.
Time for Brad Tales to hold on to the football now. He had coughed it up. The single setback is Sylvie. To the near side right comes John Morton, a junior flanker. Slot left with Grayson and Van Horn out to the far side left. On first down, looking to throw. Tail to his left, and he overshoots his intended receiver in Van Horn ahead at the 35-yard line, and Buckley was there to give him a shot in the back. He did have position hooking up in front of Buckley had the ball been thrown lower. And Tales is but 1 of 3, and he completed his first pass, has since misfired twice and been sacked and lost the football.
Coming into the night, Tales for Coach Al Moldy. 345 completions, 716 attempts, 4,593 yards in 2 years and 2 games.
2nd and 10. Tales deep up the boundary. Hunting Morton. And he can't make the grab. He ran out of bounds at the Seminole 44-yard line. Steady senior Errol McCorvey was over there, the boundary side cornerback, whipping stride for stride. McCorvey from Pensacola.
When you talk to Terrell Buckley, the All-American for Florida State, he'll always mention Errol. He'll always talk about me and Errol. They actually, Paul, have flipped their positions this year. Terrell normally was the boundary corner, now playing field, and McCorvey, the field corner, now playing boundary, and they're very close.
The nickel package is in there for FSU. 5 defensive backs, and Dan Footman, who can really rush the passer, is aligned along the line of scrimmage as well on 3rd and 10. And here's that run. Yes, sir. No way can his offensive line protect Brad Tales from that Seminole pass rush. Mac Knight was blitzing from the secondary, and the sophomore from Woodbine, Georgia, number 13, got there first.
Florida State coming with an 8-man blitz. Everybody matched up with the 3 eligible receivers. 8 people coming.
That's the 2nd sack tonight, and will offer Terrell Buckley, following the loss of 7, an opportunity to bring one back. The Buck is averaging just over 5 yards per kick. And let's see if Rosthorn, who's averaging close to 44 yards per punt for his career, can get it away. The rush is on, and he tumbles it into the sky. Buckley will catch it on a dead run and turn upfield. Gets a block. He's inside the 40 and down to the 35, and that was a devastating lick. It was laid on a Bronco by LeVon Brown, number 31, and Marty McNair for Western Michigan made the stop of Buckley. But when Buck turned the corner, LeVon Brown, watch it if you can see it, number 31, I think that's the guy that really flattened a Bronco.
On the left part of your screen, you know, we talked with Mickey Andrews yesterday, great block. Florida State has not even put in their punt returns yet. They're walled punt returns. They're still operating off the blocks and the holdups, and that's why Terrell Buckley's not been given the opportunity to really spring them loose. Look for Florida State to maybe try to pop one or two of those in there this week, or certainly get ready for Michigan 2 weeks from now.
On first down, two new receivers into the game, and one of them is Matt Pryor, who makes the grab for a first down inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. Matt Pryor's only catch this year was a two-point conversion against BYU. Here's his first official catch from scrimmage of the season. It's a nice grab.
Again, you see Florida State attacking those intermediate zones behind the linebackers and in front of the secondary, the deep secondary. The sophomore out of Live Oak, we've talked about it before, called about 4 zillion passes in high school for Swanee High.
Eric Terrell to the bottom of your screen. Pryor up top, and here's Ampli finding daylight inside the 10, racing for the end zone, and then he stumbles and goes down at the 5. Tripped up there by Tim Osborne, the free safety.
Every time
moves on the part of Lee, Chief.
Excuse me, Paul. Every time he touches the ball, you just hold his breath. There's a perfect example of his elusiveness. Cuts back against the grain, and Osborne, number 43, trips him up from behind. He's able to do it so fluidly, make it look so effortlessly. It's just unbelievable.
Oh, special teams set up. Great field position. Here comes the third snap of this possession. The fade right into the end zone for Terrell. Got it. Touchdown. Eric Terrell, the junior from Tallahassee, holds in the touchdown strike. His second of the season. And the Noles have a 2-touchdown advantage in only the first quarter.
Great touch by Weldon that time. Terrell will be coming right at you. Does a good job of sliding, and then going up. Watch the concentration. Both hands on the ball. Great reception from a great pass.
The extra point good by Mowry. Timeout on the field. More after these words from the Olive Garden Italian restaurant, where all the best of Italy is yours. Florida State, thanks to a Casey Weldon touchdown strike and an Ampli plunge, up by 2 touchdowns, 14-0. Another look as Weldon throws his first touchdown pass of the night to Eric Terrell.
Watch the arc on the ball, how the nose slides right on over, right into Terrell, and the great concentration by Eric to bring it in. Not bad coverage. Eric West, the senior cornerback that we talked about in the opening, right there, but there's no way, Paul, to defend a perfectly thrown ball.
So for the third time tonight, and you add the 2 PATs, Dan Mowry is back to work on a very busy evening for him. He floats this one again very nicely to the goal line, and Sylvie will hesitate for a moment and elects to down it on one knee. He'll be brought out, touchback to the 20-yard line. And you see the scoring drive after the excellent field position did not take very long for Western Michigan, or rather for FSU. Buckley with the return to the 36, and 3 snaps later, Weldon is in business. Let's check in with Barry Milligan down on the field.
Thank you, Paul. I'm down here with Bill Durham, who owns the horses. Renegades actually created the mascot for Florida State, and I understand the Atlanta Braves, being in a pennant race, have expressed a little bit of interest, but that's all for naught.
Well, that's really not true. We never heard from the Braves organization, but we saw an article about it in the paper. The only time we talked to anybody in Atlanta was after the article in the paper, and I talked to the editor up there of the sports department of the Atlanta Journal, telling them, no, we were never contacted by the Braves, but we just don't do promotional things. It has to be for an FSU sanctioned event. We don't light the spear unless we have an opponent, and it's a serious thing with us. We only represent Florida State University, and Osceola and Renegade, they're the mascot of Florida State University football. We do no promotional events at all, so there never was anything really to. We like the Braves, but there wasn't anything to that story, really.
All right, thanks, Bill. And for now, Paul, America's team will have to find their own mascot.
Deion Sanders. came up with that idea up there. He started the Braves tomahawk chant like the Seminoles chant. Little flip here from the quarterback tails, and he has a man galloping with the football. That's this tight end, Michael Coleman, across the 30 and up ahead to the 34-yard line. The best gain of the night and only the second completion for Tails. This one good for 14, and John Davis, the strong safety, had to make the stop.
Good pressure by Sterling Palmer, but Tails able to get the ball away on the screen. Coleman at 6'2", 235, a big target, gets some people in front of him and converts Western Michigan's first down of the evening.
Coleman had a big night against Akron, or a big afternoon last week. Caught 2 touchdown passes to the Bronco tight end. Inside handoff, Sylvie with running room across the 40 and ahead to the 42-yard line. Corey Sylvie, the offensive player of the year last year for the Broncos, and an All-Mid-American Conference tailback, the best running back in that league, and coming off a 79-yard effort against Akron, runs it out for a gain of 7 yards.
Sylvie will remind you a lot, of you're a longtime Florida State fan, of Larry Keith. Running back, he catches the ball well, he returns kickoffs. They've even got him back on punts, although we've not seen that tonight. Averaging 208 yards of total offense each game this year, Paul.
First down Broncos. Ulrich King stepping out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Tried to hook it back upfield, but he had hit the white chalk on the far sideline. Had the junior from Southfield, Michigan. See if we can see where he steps out in front of freshman Clifton Abraham, the corner.
Real hard to tell from this angle, but it looks like his left foot's clearly on the line, even from this angle. They'll mark it there, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Broncos.
That's the first down of this game for Western Michigan. Make that the second. And from the 47-yard line, Tails, the pop. And he overshot his intended receiver in Grayson, who was open on the slant. All right, Grayson would have run a while right down the middle of the field.
Seeing substitutions now for Florida State, and Florida State actually has 2 starting defenses. They've got what Coach Mickey Andrews calls their base defense. That's what they open up with on most 1st and 2nd downs. Then when they need to get into a passing situation, look at all the changes. The guys that are highlighted stay. Everybody in gold is new. Can get confusing, especially when somebody goes out and the second team nickel guy has to come in.
There's Mickey Andrews with the headset on, and Chuck Amana right in front of him, the assistant head coach. Mickey with the glasses and the cap. Seminole defense on a warm night with 4:14 to go in the first quarter. Has already registered 2 sacks and caused a fumble. Minus 20 yards. In losses for Tails. It's the only way to cool off this evening. Temperatures soaring above the 100-degree plateau down on the field.
We had a little bit of a rain shower about 50 minutes before kickoff. It lasted about 2 seconds, and really all it did was just add some humidity to the air. If there was ever a definition of the word hot and muggy, it's Campbell Stadium tonight.
For Florida State, very hot. For Western Michigan, very muggy. 2nd down and 10 from the 47. Following the incompletion by Tails, he is 3 of 8 on the night for 27 yards. Slot left formation, and you can see 4 receivers in the pattern. Upfield gunning, and he overshot it, diving. Lavelle Van Horn at the 35-yard line. Buckley was there. What do they see that they can do with Buckley over there that he keeps throwing to Van Horn?
I'm not so sure so much that they're working on Buckley as much as they're trying to work on Van Horn. Van Horn is a 4.45 40 guy. Buckley just happens to be matched up with him. He's also 6'1", and Terrell's about 5'10", a little bit of a height advantage. But Terrell stride for stride with him. I think it's not so much picking on Buckley as much as trying to get the ball to Van Horn, the big play guy.
3rd and very long. And the Noles are coming hard. Tails, who's been sacked twice, has to scramble this time. Across midfield. And upended at the 48-yard line, shy of a 1st down on a big hit by Leon Fowler, the free safety. It is so tough for that Bronco offensive line, although they're rather large at 290, 285, 330, and Hutchins to protect against Florida State's rush.
Well, Florida State determined to come with some pressure again. 7-man blitz, 4 people in man-to-man coverage, and that time they flush him out.
Buckley from his 15 spins back to his left, and he'll go down inside the 10-yard line. Ruled down at the 9, Pete Anderson, the linebacker, hustled down. The punt was of 33 yards. The return lost 7. Very un-Buckley-like numbered. Next week, we invite you to tune in to Sunshine Network for the game of the week. The Golden Hurricanes of Tulsa University host the Aggies, who are big winners today over LSU. 3.5 minutes to go in quarter number 1 and double ones. And Casey Weldon at the helm, already with a touchdown strike to his credit. And the inside give will earn the 10, 12-yard line for Edgar Bennett in second down. The first carry this evening for Bennett, who coming into this game had rushed for 121 yards. He's averaging about 4 yards a carry, Barry. Sorry about that, Keith.
He didn't get to touch the ball much last week. Looking to get his hands on it a little bit more. A great rushing threat. There you see a little over 4 yards per rush, but probably a better pass receiver.
Setting up the screen, Weldon, and he gets it to Bennett. Yeah, good hands there. He's to the 20, 24-yard line. First down, Seminoles. The soft touch by Weldon, and you see the nice hands by Bennett. Was it Brad Scott yesterday, the offensive coordinator for the Noles, saying that Bennett, the fullback, and Ampli, the tailback, may have the best set of hands on this team,
including the receivers. Great action by Weldon to draw the defensive line to him. Bennett sliding out. You see people downfield. Good job by Shannon Baker to keep from blocking from behind, which would have been a penalty. Bennett able to turn it up to about the 24, 25-yard line, first down.
A perfect 5 of 5 is Weldon, and he's gunning for his 6th straight completion, and he has it across midfield. Tez McCorvey breaks it at the 40, the 35, and down to the 33-yard line. Hawkins running down. Weldon is on fire. And McCorvey with the huge grab, the freshman from Mississippi. It's first down, Seminoles, following the gain of 42 yards.
McCorvey starting ahead of Matt Fryer. Again, Florida State attacking that intermediate zone in front of the safeties, behind the linebackers. He's likened to Hassan Jones, Paul. Same type of build, 6'1", 182, a little lighter than Hassan was, but very fluid, looks very natural running the ball.
Bobby Bowden said one of these days, Weldon may be a perfect 15 or 50. Well, galloping is Ampli inside the 15 and down to the 10. Davis, the free safety, made the stop, pulled him down with the back of the jersey. Gain on the play at 23.
We were talking with Brad Scott yesterday, that offensive coordinator you talked about earlier, Paul, and I asked him, I said, Coach, when are we going to start seeing some more isolation plays? And he said, well, Keith, you know, we've been working on it. It's something that we're going to try to concentrate on. There you see it. Isolation right up the middle, off guard. Ampli converting the first down.
The Noles, who had come 65 yards in the last 2 snaps, now find nothing up the middle. Greg Kelly, the senior linebacker, and the best defensive player for Western Michigan, according to his coaches, filled the hole there. When you talk about Western Michigan linebackers, and we mentioned Offerdahl early, as Brad Scott signals in the play, Offerdahl's locker has been enshrined, enclosed. His name is still there. His uniform is in the locker room, and it has Offerdahl above it. That's how much they think of him. As if he never left. He'll be playing in Detroit tomorrow for you Michigan faithful. Diving. Matt Fryer cannot make the catch. That's the first incompletion for Weldon in this game, and it comes after he'd hit his opening 6 for 99 yards.
Good side adjustment by Fryer and Weldon. Fryer sees he's got somebody close. He breaks it off vertical. Casey just overthrows him slightly, but a good read on both parts, just unable to execute.
Third down and 11 now for the Seminoles. And for FSU, Ampley, Edgar Bennett. The two running backs. Fryer wide, very wide to the near side left, and Terrell is holding a touchdown pass in the slot. Weldon gunning wide open, touchdown Bennett. No one picked him up out of the backfield. 20-0 FSU. Last week it was the tight ends getting away from linebackers. A linebacker forgot to pick up double two.
Excuse me, Paul. This is known as the wheel route. Pull back in the flat and work upfield. You see isolation look. Great job by the boys in the truck and the camera folks.
Mowry with his third PAT. Weldon his second touchdown toss from 12 yards out. Edgar Bennett hauls it in. That's his second TD reception this year for the Jacksonville senior, the 3-year letterman, and it's 21-0 FSU. There was a feature today in the paper, Keith, on him and all these teddy bears that he collects. What's the deal?
We're getting dangerous, Paul. I was fixing to say the same thing. Another look at it from end zone. He collects stuffed animals. I think we could read all of the cutesy little things we wanted into with Edgar collecting pink elephants and a black and white tiger. That's his favorite. But I think the interesting comment came from Dexter Carter, now with the 49ers, was a roommate of Bennett's the first 2 years that Bennett was at Florida State. He basically closed his part of the interview by saying, I don't remember anybody ever making fun of him for it. We'll get a chance to see a little bit of that in our halftime feature on Ampley, a little bit of Edgar Bennett in it as well, and you'll get a look at the collection. I collect shot glasses. Some people collect spoons. Bennett collects stuffed animals.
Bob Goyen will be collecting his thoughts and visiting with us at halftime. Stacy Strazis will visit with Edgar Bennett's running mate in Ampley. Hugo DeVobian is here from Orlando. The Citrus Bowl, of course, is putting on the Virginia Tech FSU game, and we'll have stats and highlights as well. This kick is short. Silvey from his 9. Gets back the other way across the 20. On the 25, they'll earn the 26-yard line. And the stop is made on the play by John Davis. First down from that point, following the return of 18 yards by Silvey. And here comes Brad Teos, following the rather rapid and big play scoring drive by the Noles. 7 plays, 91 yards, 42 of which came on that nifty reception by McCorvey, sliding over the middle. And Weldon has already thrown his second touchdown strike of the night. 25 seconds, by the way, remaining in the opening quarter. Silvey, the lone setback for the quarterback Tails. Silvey is cracked at the line of scrimmage. That entire front was there. Cowart, number 93, most impressive. He's just a freshman, too, is Chris Cowart. He's from New Orleans. Enjoyed playing against Tulane last week. He knows so many of the Green Wave players. That'll be the final play of the first quarter, Keith. 21-0. FSU, period number 2, just ahead after this from Coors Light. The Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the right there now.
Stay ahead of the pack. This weekend, NASCAR gives you the chance to talk with your favorite racers, from Darrell Waltrip to Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd to Ken Schrader. NASCAR's top drivers and crew chiefs will answer your questions and share their expertise from every stop on the NASCAR circuit. Live this weekend, NASCAR. Live from Martinsville, Thursday night at 11 Eastern on Prime Network.
Property owners, if you want to clear overgrown areas, you could struggle with a shaky sickle bar mower like this, or with a handheld brush cutter like this. Or instead, you could cut tall grass and weeds, brambles, sumac, even hardwood saplings up to 1 inch thick with the amazing DR Field and Brush Mower. The Field and Brush Mower chops most everything it cuts. There's no tangled brush to trip over or to pick up. And those big self-propelled wheels roll right through ditches, over bumps, and logs with ease. The DR is not for your lawn, but what a job it does with meadows, roadsides, fence lines, walking paths, and woodlots. You can clear and maintain them all with the DR every few weeks, once a season, whenever you want. A big color catalog is just $2. Call toll-free 1-800-292-6500. That's 1-800-292-6500 for your big color catalog all about the amazing VR field and brush mower.
It's no trick. Have a ball this fall with Prime Network's lineup of October treats. First, college football heats up with exciting action from the SEC, SWC, and Pac-10. And let Bill Parcells and Mike Francesa take you around the NFL. But if football's not your game, hit the pavement at the SCCA Texas World Speedway. It's thrills and chills all October long on Prime Network.
So much for Florida State not coming into this game focused. The Noles indeed not looking ahead to the University of Michigan Wolverines, who they face in their next game 2 weeks hence. 21-0 at the end of the first quarter of play. And Ampli with 7 carries, and he opened our scoring tonight following the turnover by the Bronx. Weldon has already thrown 2 touchdown strikes. And as you see, Tales and company have turned it over twice. Our first snap of the second quarter finds Tales going airborne again, and he overshoots Ora King on the far side. Terrell Buckley heading stride for stride, man coverage at the Buccaneer, or the Bronco, 32-yard line.
We see Western Michigan doing a little bit different than they've done on their previous 2 drives, trying to run the ball and throw some quick outs. Al Moldy and his crew probably want to try to conserve some time, eat some time off the clock, and not give the ball back to the Florida State offense.
A good look at Carl Simpson, the junior right defensive end from Baxley, Georgia, 275 pounds of him. 3rd and long, the big pass rush again. Freeman, everybody's in there, and another sack. John Davis, who had 2 tackles in the first quarter, picks up a sack here. That is sack number 3. Reggie Freeman there as well, as we go down to the playing field, and Barry Milligan's with us once again.
Thank you, Paul. If there was a downside to the Seminole first quarter, it was special teams. They had some real problems on kick coverage, particularly punt coverage. Defensive coordinator Mickey Andrews was incensed at some of the blocking assignments that were missed. Specifically, Tommy Henry will take a seat on the bench, and reserve cornerback Chris Keene will take over Henry's place on kick coverages. So this goes to show you, no matter how good you are, there's always room to get better.
Rosthorn punts, Buckley returns inside the 45, high step in 40, sidelines 35, and he slides down, and there's a late hit at the 34 that will draw a flag as well. This will be a half the distance to the goal personal foul call against Western Michigan.
Buckley doing a good job of getting upfield, getting vertical, not running side to side. You see him heating up ground, and now he's going to try to get out to the outside. His feet actually slip out from under him. The field's very hard, very hard. A little bit of a late hit there. Buck will be the first one to jump up and call it. Help the Zebras every chance he gets.
Step it off 15. You know, his last return was for a loss of 7. This time, the return by Buckley.
Dead ball foul. Late hit against the defense. First down.
You get 20 plus half the distance, so the Noles are set to go up 28-zip. As wearing shorts in the unaccustomedly warm weather is Al Moldy.
You imagine coming down from Michigan and it's 70 degrees, and you step off the plane yesterday afternoon in Tallahassee, Florida at 101.
William Floyd, the new fullback. Sean Jackson, the new tailback. He takes the handoff, cuts left, and fights his way out to the far left side to the 12-yard line. Say hello to another New Orleans native, in Jackson, the sophomore, who's rushed for close to a 6 yards per carry average this year. He scored a touchdown as well. He had an 8 yards per carry average last year. Great speed by Jackson.
Great speed out of a big back. Goes 220 plus pounds.
2nd and 7. He earned 3 there. And the toss will come back to him. He'll try the right side now. Lowers the head, keeps on fighting, and he drives it. Running through the tackle at the 18-yard line to the 11. A yard shy of the first down. Mark Donaldson, the quarterback from Miami, who plays for Western Michigan, came up to make the tackle on Sean Jackson.
We saw earlier Bennett on the wheel route for the touchdown. We're going to see Sean Jackson on the wheel technique on running backs. Watch him dip his shoulder and then just keep his legs under him and twirl around. Pick up an extra couple of 3 yards on second effort.
McCorvey wide to the near side, inside handoff, the quick hitter to William Floyd, who pops it for the touchdown. William Floyd, the freshman, scores his first touchdown in a Seminole uniform. Ran into the line of scrimmage, and he didn't let up, and he came popping through and rambled into the end zone.
Field level look. Watch him get tied up in there. He just keeps churning, keeps churning, keeps churning, keeps churning, and bingo, he's out of there. 6'2", 229 pounds. Not like you can lose him, but he just kept driving and pops it into the end zone.
The Noles have scored 4 touchdowns and are blowing out, overmatched Western Michigan.
I'm Bob Knoll. My official title is head of auto testing for Consumer Reports magazine, but I really work for you. And there are over 200 people who work for you at Consumer Reports. We test. Good time to try Consumer Reports, because you can get a free trial issue with no strings attached. Here are the details.
Call now for your free trial issue of Consumer Reports, the magazine that gives you all the pros and cons of a product, including price. Call now for your free trial issue, then decide. When the bill arrives, pay it and get 11 more issues, 12 in all, including the annual buying guide issue, for just $20. Or write cancel on the bill and owe nothing. And with your paid subscription, you'll get 2 free books, our 1991 buying guide issue and the updated New Medicine Show.
So put Consumer Reports to work for you. Call now.
Call now for Consumer Reports. Call 1-800-323-3600. That's 1-800-323-3600.
Every Wednesday night, Prime Network brings the great outdoors to your living room. From the how-tos of fishing to the nation's most scenic locales, professional outdoorsmen guide you on your journey across the country. From lady anglers landing lunkers to the latest news on hunting, fishing, and conservation. Wednesday nights, leave the city lights behind and escape with Prime Network on your wildest adventure ever.
The Seminoles have held the ball but 3 snaps and then score their 4th touchdown of the night, 28-0. Top-ranked FSU leading Mid-American Conference visitor Western Michigan. Another look at William Floyd's first varsity touchdown for Florida State.
Watch Floyd get tied up in traffic, but never stop his legs from churning, and then he just pops right out of there. First career Florida State touchdown. Coach Bobby Bowden looking on. Looks a little calm, doesn't he, Paul?
I would be, too. You're going to have an opportunity this evening, if you're Bobby Bowden, to play everybody. We mentioned the fact it was 101 degrees earlier today and yesterday. The Noles have dressed out 101 players for this game. The ball is in the air off the leg of Dan Mowry. And it will be taken and brought back. Let's see, for the, well, a broken and across the 30, 35, 40, 45 midfield by Alon Banks. Banks, the freshman at 5'8", pops it. And Tommy Henry, the cornerback, made the stop for Florida State. Got used to Sylvie returning it. Not 27, but number 29. And Banks came flying upfield with a 50-yard return.
Banks with great speed. You see him pop it right up there. Now, if you think Coach Mickey Andrews was incensed on assignments earlier, he's not going to be a happy camper when these kids get off the sidelines on this one.
Tail under center at the 49-yard line. Bobbles the snap, throws late, and it's incomplete. Herring footsteps on the slant route. Appeared to be Walter Cade, and it was the senior from Glenview, Illinois. Ed Clark was there, the reserve linebacker who plays behind Kurt Carruthers, number 39. You see Brad Johnson already warming up, the number 2 quarterback for Florida State. And with Weldon having led this team to 4 touchdowns in the first half, he may be done for the night. Sylvie, maybe a yard off the left side. DeAndre Clark, the left defensive end, the 266-pound junior from Winter Garden, Florida.
made the tackle for Florida State. And here comes the nickel package on 3rd and long.
We've gotten word up here too, Paul. Number 10, Derek Brooks, who's normally in on the nickel in a linebacker position, has a slight shoulder sprain. They're going to evaluate him in halftime. He's not in there right now.
3rd and 9, 5 defensive backs, 4 receivers, 2 on the wing. The Noles may have encroached the neutral zone. Tails, sack number 4. Carl Simpson, number 95, was the first Nole there. The Georgian. And Tails has spent about as much time surrounded by garnet and gold as he has by gold and brown.
Simpson's going to work his man down to the ground and then get up and get into Tails. Gets actually down on the ground and then jumps up, continuing his momentum vertical to get to Tails. Great physical athlete, 6'2", 275 pounds.
Rosthorn to punt following the 4th sack this evening that has cost the Broncos 35 yards. And he shanked it. It'll be marked upfield, another Seminole break at the 40-yard line. Florida State will have the football. The punt netted all of 15 yards. And indeed, Brad Johnson is coming into the game.
When it rains, it pours.
Johnson, the senior, 6'6", very tall, from Black Mountain, North Carolina. The numbers on him this year, you recall last season when 1990 began, he was the Seminole starter and was until October. Started the first 6 games of the year for FSU. Floyd and Jackson in the eye behind him, the play action to Jackson. And Johnson guns it over the middle and has it caught at the 35-yard line down to the 34. There's Kevin Knox, the sophomore from Niceville. His very first reception this year. And Donaldson from the Broncos secondary hauled him down, but not before Johnson to Knox earns 27 yards.
Isolation action, deep, deep drop. Johnson, a very big, statuesque figure in the pocket at 6'6". Great route by Knox all the way across the middle. The sophomore out of Niceville makes a great catch.
Sean Jackson on the counter. Works his way inside the 30, hammered hard at the 28-yard line by Darius Griffith, a senior Roverback. Jackson net 6. The Noles have come 33 yards in 2 snaps. In talking to Mark Richt, the quarterback coach, yesterday, he said whether it is Casey Weldon, in this case Brad Johnson, or 2 men we expect to see later tonight, and Charlie Ward or Kenny Felder, any one of those 4 guys could lead Florida State to a national crown. The short carry for William Floyd, who scored earlier. Mark Richt believes that all 4 men in his quarterback corps are excellent athletes and winners.
And we talked about, you know, Coach, how do you keep a guy happy who looks across the sidelines, you know, 10 or 11 times a year as a 3rd or 4th team quarterback and says, you know, I could be starting for those guys. Both Felder and Ward, sophomores, Johnson and Well Done, seniors, they'll get their chance next year.
3rd down and 3. And hits Floyd inside, earning the first down. Boy, he nearly popped that one when he hit the 15-yard line. Got knocked down from behind by Greg Kelly. Well, Floyd, who had gained only 4 yards entering this game tonight, the freshman is having a big night. He picks up a dozen here. Started right, found daylight left.
Right up the middle, does a good job of running through some hard tackles. As you indicated, gets caught behind by Griffin, number 47, but 6'2", almost 230 pounds out of St. Pete.
Boy, the lead back in the eye and the tailback. Jackson tries to dip outside, needs some help. Runs through 1 tackler and fights back to the line of scrimmage at the 14-yard line. Eric West, the Floridian from Miami, came up from his cornerback position to make the stop for Western Michigan. A Bronco defense now that has to be getting more and more winded. They've been out there a long time tonight.
Jackson does a good job of getting outside, trying to fight back upfield. You see the connection, the Florida connection. Kids from Western Michigan, from Miami and Lauderdale and Marathon.
2nd and 10. Johnson is sacked at the 20-yard line. Knocked down by blitzing Carl Lopez, number 13. who crashed from the right side. Junior college transfer. Records the second sack tonight, registered against FSU.
A junior college transfer is Lopez, who had 2 great years while in JUCO, had 80 tackles as a freshman and 89 as a sophomore, came to Western Michigan playing the rover position or outside linebacker position.
The loss on the play will push the ball back to the 20. It's 3rd and 16, and Johnson's in trouble again. And he scrambles to save a yard. Larry Featherstone, the defensive end, got him this time. And it's up to the field goal unit and Dan Mowry to rescue some points out of this possession. 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Florida State in command, leading 28-0. And the ball will be spotted at the 26-yard line, thus a 36-yard opportunity. Mowry's kicked but 1 field goal this year. It was a 25-yarder against Tulane. From 36, he splits the uprights good. 31-0. FSU leads over visiting Western Michigan.
You are watching Prime Network, your source for sports.
Stretch your RV dollars now during Customer Appreciation Days at Holiday World RV Centers. Holiday World is having a record year, and they're saying thank you with 15% off the regular price of everything in their huge accessory stores. Special red tag savings on a great selection of new and pre-owned RVs, and tremendous closeout discounts on new 1991 models and factory incentives on selected models. Stretch your RV dollars today. Don't miss the savings during Customer Appreciation Days right now at Holiday World RV Centers in Tacoma and Everett, where RV means real value.
The top movies, the top stars, they're yours when you order Showtime at HBO from Viacom Cable. Your ticket to movies you want to see, uncut and commercial-free. Add Showtime at HBO to your service at the special introductory offer of $12.95 a month for 3 months. Plus, get a remote control and access to pay-per-view movies and events. To get free home installation, call 1-800-CABLE-ME.
There's more of what you're looking for with Viacom Cable.
Hear the Big Eight's biggest news, preview the Big Eight's biggest games, and review the Big Eight's biggest plays on the Big 8 Gridiron Report every week on Prime Network. Available on most Prime affiliates.
Brad Johnson's first pass completion this evening since relieving Casey Weldon, the 27-yarder that he hung to Kevin Knox. The key play in a short-lived possession for FSU. That knocks the field goal by Dan Mowry, and it's 31-0 Florida State.
See even the hot air balloons as we opened up getting in on the act, greeting President Dale Lick. Had him on the telecast last week. Already warming up to the Seminole tradition, and already 1-0, or excuse me, 2-0 as president of Florida State, looking for victory number 3.
Some confusion, and you may have heard the name Chris Keene. Chris Keene, get in here for kick cover duty. Chris Keene's an excellent athlete, very strong, well-trained. We'll talk about him in just a little bit. Maverick. The ball on the tee, and the guy who had a great return for Western Michigan, and Alon Banks, number 29, joins Corey Sylvie. The 5-yard line, and it's towards Sylvie that Mowry sends it. 5 yards into the end zone, however, it bounds away and across the end line. And the touchback will force Western Michigan to begin at its own 20-yard line. Well, Brad Tales has struggled in the first half. He has completed but 3 of 12 passes in the first half for 27 yards. Very unaccustomed to those numbers. A man who leads Western Michigan's all-time passing charts with close to 5,000 career total yards. The single setback is Anthony DeBartoleben replacing Sylvie behind Tales, who throws this way, and it's caught by LaVelle Van Horn across the 25 at the 27-yard line. A gain on the play of 7. The ball wasn't thrown particularly well. It was a fine grab, however, by Van Horn coming back to his left. 7 plays, 41 yards. Mowry, the 36-yarder. Van Horn with his second completion of the night. Both have been bookend 7-yard catches from the 27. DeBartoleben off the right side. Tried to run behind a block over that way and nothing doing. Close to the 30-yard line. Ed Clark, the linebacker for Florida State, on the stop. That offensive line, Keith, we mentioned was very large. And Manier being 241. The guards in Wolf and Van Dale 285 and 265. Hutchins is 330 and Fleming is 290. Pretty good size up front. Not necessarily as quick, though. In fact, they aren't as quick. Florida State. They still need a yard to the Broncos from their 29-yard line on 3rd down. Busted play. They won't get the first down. Even a lunging Brad Tales can't get there as we check in once again along the sidelines with Barry Milligan.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul. That play indicative of what's been happening with the Broncos offense. Things have just been chaotic on the field and on the sidelines. The offensive coordinator trying to get his offensive unit not to panic. But the main problem is quarterback Brad Tales has been calling a lot of audibles at the line of scrimmage, and they aren't hearing very well. There's been a lot of bickering also between the linemen and their quarterback. Things not going well for Western Michigan.
It was 4th down, and it appeared that Western Michigan was going to go for it. Thus, Florida State called timeout. We'll pause as well. 5:18 to go in the first half. More after this from NCNB National Bank of Florida, the Lone Source.
This is Maximum Hoops presented by LA Gear.
The NBA Most Valuable Player in 1975 with Buffalo, this 3-time NBA scoring leader had a journeyman's career playing with 7 different teams. Name this former star.
Everything else is just hot air.
Bob McAdoo began his NBA career in 1972 with the Buffalo Braves and ended it in 1986 with the 76ers. In between, he played with the Knicks, Celtics, Pistons, Nets, and Lakers, and won 3 consecutive scoring titles from 1974 to 76.
There's no business like show business like God goes been on for. Everything about it is really life. Everything that censors around. So why do you get that apathy line? What's got it stealing an extra pound?
Bud on Sports.
For head coach Al Moldy, he said, this game was on the schedule before I arrived 4 seasons ago. I just as soon let it pass. You can see why now, down 31-0. We are yet to play 2 quarters. Western has earned but 2 first downs, and they are 0 for 7 in 3rd down conversions, trying to convert now bravely on 4th down. 4th and less than a yard at the 29.5-yard line, needing to reach the 30.
Look for the Broncos to possibly be trying to have Florida State jump off sides to get that automatic first down.
DeBartoleben and Sylvan in the eye. DeBartoleben, the fullback. Well, the nose jumped from the right side, but then Western Michigan did too. From the outside, McCorvey came first, and then the right guard, or the tight end rather, and Bollard appeared to move.
Very top of your screen. See a good cadence. Florida State lunges, but the tight end for Western Michigan does also. That will go against the offense, creating 4th and 5, and Western Michigan will elect to punt.
Well, strategy would have worked had Bollard, the tight end, just held his place. He did not hold the ground, and the Bronx will give it up.
Procedure, offense, 4th down.
Buckley at center stage, and a struggling Todd Rasthorn, who has not punted the ball well tonight. He has had a, let's see, of his punts, he's had 1 for 15. And 1 of 33. His best effort of 44 against the 10-man rush. Tries to hit it from his 15, and he got it away. Buckley from his 34 comes to the right side and runs out of bounds. The wall was set up to the right side, yet Western Michigan defended it well. The punt sailed 42. The return was up but 5. And it's 1st and 10 Seminoles, and Brad Johnson returning to action. And we'll update you on scores while it's 31-0 here. Michigan, FSU's next foe, leads by 10, 24-14. Later tonight, Penn State goes at it in the Coliseum with Southern Cal. Oklahoma, a big winner today over North Texas, as you see in Nebraska. Waxed Colorado State. Ole Miss leading Auburn early. And the big score, Central Michigan over Michigan State. Johnson chucked that one, and Terrell on the far side at the 45 could not make the grab. Right off his fingertips.
Eric trying to do his tap shoe over there on the far sideline. Appeared to have slammed his hand a little bit or jammed one of his fingers. Watch him try to concentrate on keeping the feet down and catching the ball. His feet were out and he dropped the ball. 0 for 2.
Our third running back tandem in the game now. Paul Moore, the third Seminole fullback to play. Both Floyd and Bennett, who have preceded him, have both scored touchdowns. Tiger McMillan dots the I, takes the handoff, cuts to his right, then to his left across the 45, and spins to the 47-yard line. Peter Tufo had a Tiger by the tail. 6 running backs tonight for FSU, Keith.
All of them seeing action, all of them capable of stepping right in, and there'd be very, very of any let-off. McMillan at 5'10", 180, one of the smaller of the backs for Florida State, the big 6, as it were, out of Kissimmee. But he could do it.
Third and needing 3 from the 47, play action for Johnson, and he guns into the far side, and it's caught by Terrell at the Western Michigan 46-yard line. A sliding grab. Eric Terrell, nice hands. The top pass catcher thus far this year. That was his 11th catch as he hooked up in front of Eric West.
Terrell, a prop 48 2 years ago. You know, we were talking with the Florida State coaches, and they brought out an interesting point as you see a good sliding catch. You know, Terrell missed his whole freshman year, which meant he missed freshman spring ball. So last year as a sophomore was his first time to really see action. Spring this year, the first time to contribute.
With interference led by the fullback Paul Moore, McMillan hurdles across the line of scrimmage at the 46 and carries the ball to the 42-yard line. And the clock shows 3 minutes, 40 seconds, and counting. Remaining here in the first half in a 31-0 football game. Ampli, we saw him early, rushed for a touchdown, 7 carries, 49 yards. He opened up our scoring tonight. The Noles have not looked back. Johnson being flushed, flips it. It's caught over the shoulder nicely by Paul Moore, the senior, and he carries it inside the 35 to the 33. That's a first down, and what a nice grab by Paul Moore. Moore with minute-like hands, doesn't he have to?
He very much so. He's a big man at 240-plus pounds. Here he goes, Brad running right at you, just going to flip it out to Moore. Only his 2nd reception of the year, but that's not because they don't have faith or confidence in him. He's a senior out of Miami. He can do it.
Kevin Knotts, number 81. Shannon Baker, number 1. You see at the top of your picture, the man on the wing. Here's Tiger McMillan. And the inside handoff and fighting inside the 30 is Paul Moore down to the 29-yard line. Richard Smith, the junior defensive tackle from Battle Creek, Michigan, the 264-pounder, made the stop for Western Michigan.
Moore square up. You'll see Richard Smith, number 68, step right in there, and Moore just run through the tackle. Smith was able to trip him up, but Moore so strong, able to get upfield through the tackle for another 2 or 3 yards.
Peter Tufo is being helped off the field. The linebacker you see on the far side, Jeff Allard, who opened the game the inside linebacking position, replaces him. 2nd down and 6 following the gain of 4 by Paul Moore. Moore tonight. That was his first carry there. He had the 5 reception. And here he comes with his 2nd carry to the 26. And Aller just into the game again, made the step.
Florida State now approaching 250 yards of total offense. Approaching 100 of it on the ground. And I know Coach Brad Scott there with a headset, Billy Sexton, the running back coach there to his left, our right, wanting to get some work with the 2nd and 3rd units, the running backs, and as we talked about before, Ward and Felder from the quarterback position.
Less than 2 minutes remaining, as you see. 3rd down, needing 2. On the delay, Tiger inside the 25, close to the 23-yard line, the point he needed to reach for the Noles to hold on to the football. See if it's measured or marked as 4th down. Fresh very close, and it'll be marked as 4th down. And
freshman mistake, Paul. Freshman mistake. McMillan knew or should have known he only needed 2 yards. He didn't get it. He bounced backwards.
And did not lunge for the 1st down marker. As you see, as we mentioned a moment ago, Bob Goying will headline all that coming up at the half. 4th and 1, and the Noles obviously are going to go for it. And the toss will come to McMillan, and this time he'll earn the 1st down, and he may score. The 10, the 5, is the end. Yes, he is. Touchdown. Well, everyone bunched in tightly. Tiger McMillan scores his first Seminole TD. Needing but half a yard, he pops it for 24 yards and 6 points.
Tall sweep, runs through a would-be tackler, and probably the fastest of the Florida State running backs once he gets into the open field. They were teasing me in the field house yesterday for calling him Mr. Spring Practice, because that's what he normally did, and during spring, now he's done it in a real game, scores his first touchdown as a Florida State Seminole.
And the point after is good as well by Mowry, who has kicked 5 of them in the first half and added a field goal, and a thunderous ovation reached Tiger McMillan and his Seminole teammates. It's a 38-0 ball game.
You'll drop that Mr. Spring Practice and add Mr. 4th down. 4th and a bunch, and McMillan sprints it to the end zone.
FSU with 3 TDs in the first quarter, 2 TDs and a 36-yard field goal here in the second, and this one is playing out true to form. The redshirt freshman from St. Cloud High School in Kissimmee, Florida. His longest run this season in 2 previous games had been a 20-yard scoot. This one is 24 yards, and I promise you he'll keep the football in his trophy chest for a long time to come.
Great hopes for this young man, McMillan, as you indicated, out of Kissimmee. Had a great, a fantastic high school career down there at St. Cloud area. 5'10", 180, and can fly. 24 yards, finishes up that 60 yards, 9 plays, 4-minute plus drive for Florida State.
The Noles have done it in 1 play. They've done it in 3 plays. They've done it in 7 plays, and now 9 plays. And Mowry is set to put the ball into play with less than a minute to go. High into the dark sky. At the 15, the 20, bouncing off tacklers. Here comes Banks. He's a fine return specialist. That across the 30-yard line, and John Davis makes another special teams tackle. That was a 23-yard return, and away from the football, we had an elbow fly and a flag fly as well. Look at total yards in the first 2 quarters, Keith.
Florida State, 250-yard advantage. Western Michigan with negative yardage rushing. See the indication of the hold against the Broncos. That'll back them up a little bit further as they start here with just 46 seconds left.
Holding on the receiving team during the run back. 1st down.
Al Moldy has had 2 mistakes here lately that have really hurt. Remember 4th and 1 when his tight end jumped? That stung. Not so much in terms of trying to get back in this game, but just to play respectably well. And now Tales will toss it. Here comes Sylvie. Toss the 25 and up to the 26-yard line, and the clock will run. Western Michigan will not call timeout. Marvin Jones in there to make the stop for FSU. And it has been a picture-perfect first half if you are Bobby Bowden hunting for FSU. Your 9th straight win dating back to a season ago, and your 14th, make that your 13th straight in Doak Campbell Stadium. The final play of the first half, if it's a completion, it's incomplete to stop the clock at the 9-second mark. Upfield, running up the sideline was John Morton. There defensively, Errol McCorvey.
Broncos hoping to catch Florida State, thinking they were just going to run the clock out. They run Morton on a fly pattern, an up route. Coach Bowden pulling his notes there. A lot of folks want to know what you do on the sidelines. One of the things Coach Bowden does is jots down notes to remind him of the things he wants to cover during halftime so he won't forget.
On 3rd and 5, the delay. Sylvie will run out the clock and run it up to the 40-yard line. Pretty good run there. That'll do it. The first half is history as Gilmer makes the stop for FSU. Sylvie with 44 yards rushing, but FSU with 38 points. We're halfway through this one, and Bobby Bowden headed toward win number 208. And we're headed toward our halftime show when we return to Doak Campbell Stadium in just a moment.
It's no trick.
Leading big at halftime. 38-0 as both teams are back onto the field. We are set to go with quarter number 3, and he's unbelievable, but Keith Jones is here. There he is, former headhunter. I'm Paul Kennedy, and it seemed that the defense set this whole thing up tonight, didn't it?
They really did, and I think the Florida State defense is very proud of their effort. It led to the first touchdown, which was a little fade pattern to Eric Terrell. Makes a great catch of a great pass, and that got Florida State off and running.
Here is Edgar Bennett with his 6-pointer this evening. The linebacker failed to pick him up.
Nobody even close. Florida State executing perfectly, getting the fullback into the flat.
The linebacking core of Western Michigan had its moments too. Brad Johnson at the helm.
Good job by number 13, Eric Lopez, coming in and flattening Johnson, all 6'6" of him.
We've had 6 separate running backs play for FSU. Tiger McMillan would score. Here's a field goal by Dan Mowry, and why not show it? He has been a very busy first 2 quarters kicking the football.
That he has. Does good converting there. 25-yarder last week, 36-yarder this week, and you mentioned earlier the touchdown by McMillan. Watch him get jammed up inside. This is a 4th and 1, and then just sprints it outside and outraces the defenders to the end zone for his first Seminole touchdown.
20, it nearly cost him his headgear. 24 yards on that jump. He is one happy Seminole, is he not? A look at the numbers, 153 yards through the air, and Brad Tales has been shut down. You see 41 yards, make that 51 yards. That should be 41 yards of total offense rather than 51. The penalties, Western Michigan has made its share of mistakes, and time of possession again in favor of FSU.
I think Florida State coaches will be most impressed with that one penalty for 5 yards.
24-14, Michigan over Notre Dame. Penn State and Southern Cal later tonight. No scores they nearly have. Down the road a piece in Gainesville. Elsewhere, it is Oklahoma over North Texas State. Tennessee wins at home over visiting UCLA, and Baylor stuns Colorado.
The Bears do it.
71-14, the Huskers in a rout. Iowa over the Cyclones, and Auburn leading Ole Miss coming from behind as they near intermission. And let's see, the remaining scores, Central Michigan, yeah, they win there. The Buckeyes have to stave off Howard Schnellenberger, who showed us that will not be an easy trip to the state of Kentucky. And the other scores, as you see, we are underway. And the kickoff is fielded by Tiger McMillan, who is upended at the 26-yard line. And from that point, the Noles begin 1st and 10, and let's see who joins the Seminole huddle this time at quarterback. The tackle was made by Pierre Hickson, and it appears that it will be Brad Johnson to get some work.
Look for Florida State to go with Brad for a series or two. You see his numbers on the night, 3 or 4, 42 yards, and then they'll bring either Felder or Ward. We think Felder will be seen first, but we'll wait and see how many series Johnson gets.
Kez McCorvey wide to the near side left. Also headed this way is Shannon Baker. An I formation for the Seminoles, and it is Marquette Smith who opens up the second half. Bobby Bowden is going to play that true freshman a bit in the final 2 quarters of play, and at 5'7", 190 pounds. The first-year Castleberry player runs into the waiting arms of Greg Kelly, the linebacker.
Very compact, very powerful is Marquette Smith, a true freshman, as you mentioned. Got his first play in action against BYU, kickoff returner in a couple of plays. Had about 4 or 5 carries last week against Tulane.
Play action to him. Johnson guns it, and it's in and out of the hands of a begloved Shannon Baker. And there was nothing wrong with the way that Johnson delivered that ball. There was something wrong with the way Shannon held on to it, though.
We talked to offensive coordinator Brad Scott yesterday about the gloves. We just see Johnson looking on. Asked him, did he prefer the gloves or did he not like the gloves? Did he have an opinion? He basically said it's up to the kids. Certainly we're not to suggest that the gloves contributed to that drop by Baker. But you see Brad looking on, and he said, hey, whatever the kid's comfortable with, that's what I want him to use.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be dropping passes like that as he comes wide left. Let's see if he gets another look. Johnson sets up, throws it his way. This time he catches it. Came right back to him across the 40 and wrestled out of bounds ahead of the 42-yard line. Is Shannon Baker. And it's first down, Seminoles. Interesting that they would come right back to him as we take a look at Florida State's number 1.
A little bit of a confidence builder, possibly. See a good route by Baker, pushing upfield with his speed, turning the corner back around. Hawkins comes over to make the stop, number 42 there.
The lone setback is Felix Harris. Is on the wing, Marquette Smith. And Felix Harris carries the ball for the first time tonight. He becomes the 8th running back to rush from the line of scrimmage for FSU. Eric Ferguson, who is 6'3", 255, ran over the top of Marquette Smith, who was trying to lead interference, took him out, and then took the running back out. But not before the gain was a 4, second down and 6.
I believe this is Harris's first carry of the 91 season. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paul.
You're right, absolutely.
First time he's touched the ball. 8th man in the Florida State backfield.
Marquette. Whoa, look at the daylight there across midfield to the 46-yard line. The right side of the offensive line opened a gaping hole, and through it came Marquette Smith. Kingsley on the stop. Steve Allen, number 72 on that side, the tackle. Look at him push a Bronco away.
Isolation action inside the tackle box, and Smith doing a good job of just finding the wide open spaces.
That's the second unit offensive line with Jeff Dermer, number 64, over the football. McGill and Beaver flanking. Clapp and Allen the tackles. Marquette again in trouble. He has 2 as he slithers for a pair. The play didn't develop well that time. Excellent defense by Western Michigan. Dave Cutlett, defensive end, hitting first.
Another look at Smith. You know, this Bronco defense, Paul, only giving up 95 yards per game the first 2 games. Florida State now rushing for about 135.
Second and 8. Play action to Marquette. Brad Johnson can run forever. Watch his speed. 35 or 35 rather. And he's tripped up at the 30 down to the 28. Kingsley came running all the way over from the secondary to make the stop. Brad Johnson pulled the ball down and said, hey, if nobody is going to look out for me, I'm going to run with it. And he ran 13 yards, make that 16 yards for the first down.
They flooded everything to the quarterback's left. The right, as we look at it here from the end zone, and the left-hand side was wide open. Johnson had a 14-yard scamper last week. Adds to it with about 16 yards this time.
McCorvey, Baker, wide left. Marquette Smith darts inside the 32 down to the 31-yard line. Marquette Smith, the USA's National Player of the Year. He is a guy, when he ran track in high school, he used to get so nervous he'd get nauseous before a track meet. just trying to run sprints. He wanted to perform so well. Well, he has blinding speed, and he plays well both in track and more demandingly here on the football field. Hooking up down the middle, the tight end Lonnie Johnson falls in the bullet from Brad Johnson. The Johnson and Johnson tandem earns another first down for FSU.
We've not seen the tight ends gone to tonight after the big outing that both Johnson and Hart had last week. But there's a good look at Lonnie, 6'3", 224. Couldn't even redshirt him last year. Coach Bowden was saying we had to find a way to play him. He's so gifted, such a fluid athlete at the big tight end position.
The 19th first down for FSU. Baker at the 4-yard line and out of bounds at the 3. Eric West shoved him out of bounds. Brad Johnson connecting there on his 6th completion. He's 6 out of 8 tonight. Has only missed twice, and he picked up 13 yards.
Baker starting ahead of Eric Terrell tonight. Does a good job of running just the out pattern. That's the thing about the Florida State offense, Paul. A lot of people talk about its high-poweredness and how complex it is, but a lot of the pass routes are side adjustment routes, or easy routes, if you will, not complicated, but they do such a great job executing.
Marquette to the 3-yard line. Off the toss sweep. Cutler, the junior defensive end, got there first, number 58.
You see Marquette taking the toss, trying to cut back inside. You know, a lot of running backs will go north and south, more so when they get inside the 20. You see a good job by Cutlip there, number 58, 47 tackles career-wise coming into tonight's ball game, 4 on the year. Does a good job of adding to them.
The 12th play of the drive will find the end zone. Felix Harris, his first touchdown of 1991. Harris off the right side propels Florida State to a 44-0 lead here in the 3rd quarter.
Nothing fancy, just turn around 360 and hand it to the fullback. Felix Harris, number 24, just charging across the line. Straight man-on-man blocking.
Mowry adds the PAT. Timeout on the field, 45-0. More after this from your Florida Jeep Eagle dealers, where you can always expect the best.
Stand by for what may be the most incredible guarantee ever offered in women's golf. If you're a woman and enjoy the game of golf, there's something you can use to improve your game. It's Golf for Women, the magazine that helps you cut strokes off your game and enjoy each round more. Now you can get a full year for only $14.97. Each issue is packed with stroke-saving instructional tips, equipment reviews that tell you about innovations to help your game, plus articles on fashion, fitness, travel, and more. One full year, only $14.97. If you order right now, you'll get your 2nd year free. That's 2 years for the price of one. And here's our lifetime guarantee. If Golf for Women magazine doesn't cut strokes off your game, improve your swing and enjoyment of golf, we'll refund the full subscription price. Call now to get 2 full years of Golf for Women for only $14.97. Your 2nd year is free. Order now for yourself or a friend. Call 1-800-231-7300.
This season, the Oregon Ducks join the flock and come to play on Prime Sports Northwest. We're not talking DuckTales. We're talking every play of every game all season long. Just remember, in this game, if somebody yells duck, you better. Get excited. This season, the Oregon Ducks are on Prime Sports Northwest, home of the Pac-10. Oregon takes on Texas Tech for an interconference showdown, Monday, September 16th at 8 Pacific.
Let me see. A Tiger has scored, and now a Cat scores. And Felix the Cat for FSU.
Coming right at you. Good blocking by the offensive line, just pushing and shoving and churning and driving Western Michigan folks off the ball. Harris just settles in behind them and scores.
The Noles with a rushing touchdown by Ampley. Edgar Bennett. William Floyd from 11 yards out. A 24-yard gallop by Tiger McMillan, and now Felix the Cat Harris. The plunge, capping a 12-play mark to open the second half. That's setting the tone for the rest of the evening. Silvey downs it. The Bronx begin first and 10 from their 20-yard line. Still trying to sustain something on offense and put points on the board. The Noles this year, as you see the 12-play march here, have enjoyed, 6 scoring drives prior to tonight of 65 yards or longer.
A couple of 3 of them fall in the 80-plus range. They had a 91-yard scoring drive tonight. That's one of the things the offensive staff, as you see Harris there, was wanting to be able for this offense to do, consistently drive the ball for distance.
Brad Tales opens the third quarter by hooking up complete to his flanker, John Morton, who does a nice job of earning the first down, scooting around Errol McCorvey to the 32-yard line. First down, Western Michigan. For Tales, that was a 12-yard gain, and his 5th completion of the night. 4 of 14, as he was in the first half. Fresh set of downs. Silvey, 35, 40, 45, 48-yard line. A good job of, once he saw an alley, of cutting it upfield for the 5'9", 175-pound senior. Howard Dinkins, a fellow senior, ran him down.
As we talked about, a very gifted athlete, does a lot of things very well. This time we'll show a good burst of speed as he just runs straight upfield. Florida State over pursuing. You know, he's had a 82-yard rushing touchdown in his career, so he can pick him up and put him down.
And coverage, and Tales knows it and throws it. A great grab at the 32-yard line by John Morton in front of McCorvey. Now that's the Brian Tales we expected, or the Brad Tales, rather, we expected to see this evening, and Morton certainly helped him out, leaping high into the air.
Morton, with the best hands of the receivers on the Broncos squad, does a great job of going up. McCorvey, a little slow getting turned around. A good timing pattern there. Tales delivering the ball at a point where Morton could go up for the ball before the defensive back had turned around.
The largest gain tonight for Western Michigan, a pickup of 18 yards. And Henry Ostazuski, number 74, the left defensive end, makes the play for Florida State on Silvey. Silvey's getting a lot of work tonight in that one-back set.
Rushed for 840 yards last year, did Silvey. 5.7-yard average in that MAC conference schedule. 6 rushing touchdowns last year also.
65 yards for him thus far. Tail to Silvey, who scoots inside the 25, stays on his feet, 20. He's still on his feet. 16-yard line. He has such a low center of gravity that when Kurt Carruthers finally made the stop, the linebacker for FSU, Barry Milligan, he had bounced off 3 separate Seminole defenders.
Well, the Seminoles defensively hitting very hard, but not ramping it up, Paul. But offensively, we're about to get our first look of the season at the sophomore Kenny Felder. He's been warming up, and he will take over the Seminole offense when FSU gets the ball back.
Now, that ought to be a lot of fun, huh? First and 10, down 45-0. Tail. Maybe a yard. Off the broken play, Reggie Freeman out there, along with the first-team defensive unit. They've played the reserves offensively this evening, with the number 1 defensive unit for FSU still on the field.
Number 1 base in there. Coach Mickey Andrews and Coach Chuck Amato and the rest of the defensive squad have rolled them. So you've seen the number 2 base unit out there before. But now here close to the goal line, Florida State's number 1 base unit in there trying to prevent the Broncos from scoring.
Second down and 9. The ball at the Seminole 15-yard line. Tail for Morton. Morton did not come back to the ball. Clifton Abraham was the defender who had Morton in single coverage on the far side of the field. If Morton comes back to the ball, he has a chance of making the catch.
Abraham in there, just a freshman, 5'9", 185 pounds, still nursing a bad knee. You see the tail end of the play. Number 2 turned around, the ball behind Morton. Tail's a little errant in that throw.
Ulrich came to the far side, to the near side right. Comes Lavelle Van Hoyt. Third and 9, 15-yard line. And a struggling Tail hoping to get something going. hardly had a moment before Mac Knight knifed him down in the backfield. There have been 4 sacks tonight. That was nearly number 5 against Teo. The Seminoles had ended this game, Keith, with 4 sacks in their 2 previous games. But this offensive line at key moments for Western Michigan has been unable to protect its quarterback.
They have a very tall, we talked about their size, but they go 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 6'6" across that front. Big bulk and big height as well.
Earlier this evening, Marisi missed from 33 yards out. He'll try this one from 32, and he misses as well. Timeout on the field. A frustrated Western Michigan must now play defense. 45-0, FSU lead.
You're watching Prime Network.
The top movies, the top stars, they're yours when you order Showtime at HBO from Viacom Cable. Yeah! Your ticket to movies you want to see, uncut and commercial-free. Add Showtime at HBO to your service at the special introductory offer of $12.95 a month for 3 months. Plus, get a remote control and access to pay-per-view movies and events. That's good. To get free home installation, call 1-800-CABLE-ME.
There's more of what you're looking for with Viacom Cable.
Congestion suggestion. Comic relief from traffic around Puget Sound.
Anybody out there ever have their car break down on them during rush hour? I see you out there going, oh no, not me. If your car breaks down, just pull over to the side of the road and wait for help. Don't go shopping, don't go fishing, just stay put, relax, and catch yourself on the traffic report. There's a stalled vehicle in the right lane of 520. Hey, you, get back in your car.
With your help, we can keep it rolling.
Hear the Big Eight's biggest news, preview the Big Eight's biggest games, and review the Big Eight's biggest plays on the Big 8 Gridiron Report every week on Prime Network. Available on most Prime affiliates.
We welcome you back to Doak Campbell Stadium. And on first down, Tiger McMillan working off the right side, picks up a couple of tough yards as you are introduced to the sophomore from Niceville, Florida, the much heralded number 5, Kenny Felder. His first action this year for FSU, and the coaches playing him in front of Charlie Ward this evening, a guy we saw against Tulane last week, not for any other reason than he did not play a week ago, and an opportunity for him to see some significant action. He looks to throw his first pass and floats this one deep downfield, looking for Terrell, and Terrell had to play defender and break it up. The pass was very nearly intercepted by Pierre Hickson, the quarterback, as Felder hung it much too high.
Showing that outfielder's arm. Felder, a member of the Seminole baseball team, outfielder, just hangs the ball up too far. Needs to throw that ball a little bit farther towards the receiver as opposed to towards the middle of the field. And Pierre Hickson comes across, and Terrell sticks a little hand in there and knocks it out, or it would have been an interception.
We should pay attention closely here to how Felder plays for next season. When they go into spring practice, Ward and this man, Kenny Felder, will be battling for the starting quarterback job. This could be your quarterback of 1992. He's in trouble here, and he'll lose big yardage back to the 9-yard line. Sacked on the play by Larry Featherstone, number 62, and he lost 15, did Felder. That's an inauspicious debut.
Coming right up the middle, you see Featherstone, number 62, and I believe Mark Nabozny, number 50, working from his left defensive tackle position, double-teaming Felder, throwing him for a 15-yard loss. Florida State punting for the first time tonight.
That's the 4th sack tonight, registered by Western Michigan. Scott Player gets it away. Pretty nice punt. And Morton, the flanker, brings it inside the 45 to the 44. Fine field position. The stop made by Eric Smith, the reserve linebacker. The punt sailed 38 yards, fine hang time, and a 5-yard over after FSU failed to move the ball. There's your Ward and Felder. Felder on the left, of course.
Your sophomores in waiting. Quarterbacks in waiting.
Both play two sports. Felder, a baseball star, as Keith said, and Ward, the point guard for Pat Kennedy's goal. Play action for Tails, nearly intercepted. Nearly picked off by Ken Alexander. The pass intended for Virgil Grayson on the quick look in. And Ken Alexander, who's being teamed a little bit, Keith, you mentioned this earlier with Marvin Jones, tonight had it hit him right, boink, right there.
Worst place you can hit a linebacker, right in his hand. That's why they wear face masks, guys, not so they can tackle, keep that ball from smacking them in the face.
That's the 13th incompletion tonight. 7 of 20 is Tails. And Sylvie has worked over pretty good as he works the middle. Ed Clark was there for the Seminoles. Some other shoulders there too. 3rd and 7, and as you see, here comes the nickel package. Out goes the base package, and it's the #1 nickel unit with guys like Buckley and McCorvey and Jones and Carruthers, Dan Footman. All sorts of familiar faces in there for FSU. At the Seminole 40-yard line. Backpedaling, Tails. Over the middle, incomplete, intercepted. Picked off by Mac Knight. Knight at the 40-yard line, and down he goes. Knight, the sophomore, has his very first interception. Number 13, off the deflection.
You know, last week, Florida State did not have an interception, and that marked the first time in 16 games that the defense had not picked one off. Evidently, Mac Knight wanting to start a new string. Deflection. Good coverage by Marvin Jones. The ball's tipped in the air. Oski. People turn around and grab it, and upfield they turn.
Felder back in at quarterback following the turnover from his 38-yard line, and Paul Moore will protect the football and carry it across the 40 up to the 42. A new set of backs for him, meaning Felder and Paul Moore, the fullback, and Sean Jackson now returning at the tailback position. The 8-yard return by Knight. One of an armada of Florida State secondary performers to see action in this football game. 2nd down and 7, a pickup of 3 by Paul Moore. And Felder play action. Well, he actually gave it to Jackson. And Jackson for a yard off the left side. 3rd down approaching. Featherstone, the defensive end, made the tackle for Western Michigan.
Featherstone, a two-sport athlete in his own right, Paul. He's on the track team for Western Michigan. Throws the shot put. As you see Felder getting the signals from the sideline. You're seeing a little bit more of that in today's college athlete. Felder, baseball, Charlie Ward, basketball, and Featherstone on the track team. Of course, a lot of the Florida State skilled people, the defensive backs and receivers, run track as well.
Knox to the right side. McCorvey to the near side left. Both backs out. Felder. Cox throws. It's caught. And McCorvey breaks it across midfield to the 40-yard line. A very quick feed of Kez McCorvey. It's 1st down, Florida State. A gain of 16 yards. Felder to Kez.
Another word they use to describe McCorvey, Kez McCorvey, is effortless. You see him just spin out, turn sideways, move laterally. He's just pretty to watch.
Now the coaching staff says that he may have dropped maybe one ball all of spring and fall practice. Very sure-handed. He's wide open here. Make that Knox at the 29. Knox to the 19-yard line. And how far did Felder throw that ball? He threw it on a rope from the near hash to the far boundary and hummed it. Griffith, the linebacker, had to knock down Knox and save a touchdown.
Well, there's no doubt about the arm strength of Felder. You see that ball with plenty of air underneath it, air being distance, not height. Knox has completely turned Hickson around. Wide open.
Well, after him misfiring his first attempt and then being sacked on his opening possession, Felder has settled down, and Kenny Felder is 2 of 3 through the air for 38 yards. 1st and 10 Knowles up 45-0. Felder sets up the screen. And here comes Paul Moore with interference. The 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Paul Moore. has thrown a touchdown pass. Brad Johnson has thrown a touchdown pass, and Feller becomes the third FSU QB to do the same.
As Moore turns up, he has to come back for the ball. Now watch the left-hand side of your screen. You're going to see 3 or 4 Garnet jerseys blocking people. Watch the line that forms for him as he gets into the end zone.
The extra point, however, is missed. Timeout on the field, 1:55 remaining in the third quarter, 51-0 FSU.
What kind of club is that?
Look at the shaft.
Wow, he crushed it.
I want one of those clubs.
Me too.
Introducing the Whippy Tempo Master, a revolutionary breakthrough in golf training technology.
I invented this club. I went from 18 to 2 handicap in 6 months and had 50 yards to my drive.
The Tempo Master's unique UltraFlex shaft forces you to build clubhead speed with your legs, not your arms. The result is power, accuracy, and amazing distance.
Well, with age and maturity, I lost 40 yards. With the Tempo Master, I got it back.
To order your own Whippy Tempo Master, call 1-800-544-1391. Ask for operator 140. Just $89.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling. Comes complete with a booklet of tips and drills.
I've had my students go from the hundreds to the 80s using the Tempo Master.
Call 1-800-544-1391, operator 140. Call today.
This is really fun.
Hi, I'm Bob Elder, inviting you to join me each week for Football Forecast 91 right here on this station. Football Forecast 91 gives you the information and insights you need to help better evaluate and handicap the upcoming college and professional games. Each week, Dennis Tobler of the TSI Network and Las Vegas handicapper Jeff Allen join me for a comprehensive look at the top games in a way I think you'll enjoy. So join us for Football Forecast 91 each week right here.
There's no limit to the action under the big sky. Tuesdays, the Big Sky is on Prime Sports Northwest. The Southwest Texas State Bobcats come to the Vandals Tuesday, September 17th at 9 Pacific.
Six separate FSU running backs have scored touchdowns. This one off a screen, net 6 for Paul Moore.
Watch the left-hand part of your screen. You're going to see almost a punt picket wall develop right there behind you, and then Moore does a good job of eluding one tackler to get the last 5 yards into the end zone.
There are some who will say, well, Florida State now may be running up the score. I don't think so. When you're setting up screen passes on third down, 5 plays, 61 yards, 2 minutes. And Bobby Bowden was asked to comment over the 81-0 shellacking Penn State laid on Cincinnati last week. He said, in this day and age, when you have polls and not a college football playoff, which he doesn't favor anyway, but when you have polls, these things are going to happen because you are playing to be number 1. 5 yards into the end zone. It's going to be brought out by Banks. Count the Garnet jerseys around him shy of the 15. John Davis, number 18, was the first one there. We have a new quarterback, Andrew Scorfar, a redshirt freshman, seeing his first varsity action of 1991. This game is decided, and Scorfar will come in to try and get some work. A very highly touted youngster out of Coldwater, Michigan, and he finds himself in some hot water now. Down 51 points, 1:45 to go in the third. He begins inside his 15-yard line. The short drop, the throw, caught by King, and nowhere to go for King. Corey Sawyer, the field corner who plays behind both Terrell Buckley and Tommy Henry, the freshman from Key West, Florida, number 8, made the open field stop.
Did a good job there of not getting caught up and trying to make the big hit. When you're one-on-one out there in La-La land, you just want to wrap up and make sure you tackle. Sawyer doing a good job that time holding the Broncos to just a 6-yard gain.
Scorfar with his first varsity completion in a Western Michigan uniform. Loose ball, fumble, the Seminoles have the ball. It was coughed up inside by Anthony DeBartolome.
Bryce Abbott, number 23, looks like on the recovery.
Abbott earns the turnover. Let's see who made the jarring hit.
Let's see where it comes from. Looks like he's lost it and then gets hit right there in the middle.
Todd McIntosh.
Abbott right over the top. Wraps it up.
Our fourth quarterback. All three of his predecessors have thrown TD passes. What will Charlie Ward do here? Completed a pass for 9 yards a week ago against Tulane. He hands the ball inside. William Floyd on the carry to the 15-yard line. Second down from that point, a gain of 4. It's time to go to the record books because this one should surpass the 60-point plateau. Less than a minute remaining in the third. But all sorts of offensive numbers have been laid on the board this evening. Terrell to the far side. Pryor to the near side left. Marquette Smith, the tailback. He'll take the handoff. Dart outside. Cutting back to the 12. Vlad Conte, a 228-pound defensive tackle, knocked him off his feet. As Brad Scott was saying, it's so tough to tackle a man the size of Marquette Smith, and also with the strength of Marquette Smith, he bench presses better than 360 pounds.
Just doing a good job of jitterbugging inside and out.
If you're a Seminole fan, it doesn't get any better than this. It's 51-0 Noles, and we'll return after this word from Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, where indeed it doesn't get any better than this.
It's no trick. Have a ball this fall with Prime Network's lineup of October treats. First, college football heats up with exciting action from the SEC, SWC, and Pac-10. And let Bill Parcells and Mike Francesa take you around the NFL. But if football's not your game, hit the pavement at the SCCA Texas World Speedway. It's thrills and chills all October long on Prime Network.
The instructional video they're all talking about, teaching the mechanics of the Major League Swing. Jack Stallings, head coach at Georgia Southern College and representative of the IBA, the governing body of the International Amateur Baseball Association, calls it great photography, easy to understand, well organized, and thoroughly covers the essential aspects of hitting. The Houston Chronicle says it's a fantastic study of hitting. Houston Baptist College baseball coach Ricky Witt calls it the best, most concise approach to hitting I've come across in 15 years. Developed by professional hitting instructor Tommy Mansky at Orlando's Baseball World, this tape features demonstrations by Houston Astros All-Star Glenn Davis and instruction in freeze-frame and slow-mo analysis with an outstanding drill section.
Hi, I'm Glenn Davis. I'm so impressed with this teaching video by Tommy Mansky that I've given it my complete endorsement. And when you watch it, you'll see why.
Teaching the mechanics of the Major League Swing makes a perfect gift for players and coaches at all levels. Credit card orders will be shipped immediately by priority mail. So call toll-free now, 1-800-768-1970.
Stay ahead of the pack. This weekend, NASCAR gives you the chance to talk with your favorite racers, from Darrell Waltrip to Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd to Ken Schrader. NASCAR's top drivers and crew chiefs will answer your questions and share their expertise from every stop on the NASCAR circuit, live. This weekend, NASCAR, live from Martinsville, Thursday night at 11 Eastern on Prime Network.
A raucous crowd greets us as we open the fourth quarter, and the Seminoles threatening to put 6 on the board. It's 3rd and 2, the football at the Western Michigan 11-yard line. And Marquette Smith earns the first down and scores a touchdown. The 7th running back to score in this football game for FSU. The little big man with his first Seminole touchdown. We've had a number of firsts this evening.
A very small, tight, powerful package is Marquette Smith. And he just burst into his first touchdown.
On the first play of the fourth quarter, Mowry, who missed a moment ago, the PAT, nails this one here. It's 58-0 in a lapper, FSU.
It's the Anheuser-Busch Family Fitness Weekend, a fun-filled weekend of running, inline skating, adult and kid-sized sprint triathlons with swimming, biking, and running. The Family Fitness Weekend is coming to the Florida Keys, Isla Mirada, September 27th through the 29th at the Chica Lodge. We've got something for everyone in your active family. For entry information, call Exclusive Sports Marketing today at 1-800-780-SPORTS.
Oh, one of the big blowouts of this young decade of the 90s is upon us. 78-0. FSU over Western Michigan, and here comes Mr. Smith.
You see him just darting and weaving, and then once he gets the vision of that goal line, those last 10 yards are wide open. First collegiate touchdown, obviously the first touchdown as a Seminole from 11 yards out.
Florida State a year ago pounded on Cincinnati for 70 points. I must tell you, in that 70-21 win that came in November, that number is in jeopardy. The most points ever scored came against Tulsa. As the ball is down at the 21-yard line, Berteleben made the fair catch. 3 plays, 19 yards, and Marquette Smith galloped in from 11 yards away.
Quarter notes, Western Michigan 113, Florida State plus 400. Florida State averaging 552 yards of total offense per game for 91.
In 1985, the Noles scored 76 on Tulsa. Al Moldy's team may have 76 laid on them tonight. Bobby Bowden may keep it on the ground and still score them. Scorefar from his 20-yard line. Under pressure, dumps it out of the backfield, and he has a receiver ahead to the 30-yard line, and Andre Wallace. Andre Wallace, a redshirt freshman like his quarterback in Scorefar, an Illinois native, picks up 9. Tommy Henry, the field quarterback, made the stop for FSU.
Going to get a look at it. Wallace with his second reception of the 91 campaign. Just a little flare out. He's going to get hit here at the very end. It's a little warm down on the field, looks like, Paul.
We knew that going in, 101 degrees. I don't know that the heat had anything to do with it. You just have the #1 team in America as Ulrich King makes the grab, playing a team that hails from the Mid-American Conference. This was quite predictable. Although you can point to the fact that a top 20 team in Michigan State fell to Central Michigan today, and the Spartans got caught looking ahead to Notre Dame.
A lot of Seminole fans, too. You talk about victories. We'll remember Coach Bowden's group going up to Columbia, South Carolina in 1988. P.T. Willis starting for Chip Ferguson, 59-zip 3 years ago.
Scorefar dumps the ball. Intentional grounding will be the call. Dan Footman had Scorefar lassoed at the 25-yard line, and the referee in James Knight threw the flag. That's a face mask call against Footman.
I believe he was successful with Scorefar getting it to his back, but Footman was all over him and trying to grab a hold of a jersey or a shoulder pad or a belt buckle or anything he could. Dan hopefully accidentally grabbed a hold of the face mask.
Five-yard mask defense, first down. The Noles have been penalized but twice tonight. And there came that second penalty.
Footman got him right there with his left hand. The incidental one, the 5-yard one.
First and 10 from the 45-yard line, and the toss comes back to Wallace. There's no room to run. Second down.
But Wallace is a guy you want to hem up. Runs 11 100 meters and a 22.9 200 meters, does number 46 there. Redshirt freshman. Watch the defensive line of Florida State as they're trying to corral the track star. Everybody standing up, working down, working down, working down. You see Footman there, number 58, trying to hold his ground. Finally just on top of Wallace. That's how you keep the track star at the line of scrimmage.
What a player he is going to be in Footman. Never played a down lineman position until this year. You know, suffering that severe knee injury last year. And too much time was taken. 25-second play clock expired, and Western Michigan will be marched back 5.
We saw it earlier with Tails doing a number of checkoffs at the line of scrimmage. Scorefar trying to do the same. You see Al Moldy just throwing up his hands. Scorefar a little late getting the cadence out, getting the checkoff to his wideouts. Therefore, the 25-second clock expired, delay a game.
Well, if Al Moldy can come out of this game without any major injuries, and he's been fortunate in that regard thus far, and with his team's pride still intact, then he has a chance next week as he returns to MAC play to beat Toledo. But that's a very big game for the Broncos, for they were blown out by Toledo last year. And the conference crown, as Moldy said all week, comes first. Scorefar up the boundary, and he overshoots King. Incomplete. It'll be third down as we say hello once again to Barry Milligan.
Well, Paul, just to expound on what you were just saying, indeed, the Broncos go back to the conference play next week. Now, scoring would just be gravy. This game, obviously, way out of reach. They're trying now to just execute and do some of the things that they'll have to do to be successful once they get back into conference play next week against Toledo and the following week against Ohio University.
The second-string quarterback, Scorefar, looks over the top defense in the nation. Number 1 ranked Florida State's got its number 1 still out there. Scorefar turns, inside handoff. Wallace bounces outside. Wallace with the first down. Across the 45 and ahead to the 48-yard line. Kirk Carruthers made the stop.
As we mentioned, Wallace very fast, running north and south. We didn't have any indication of his quickness or his lateral movement, but we see that he does possess some. Al Moldy and his staff. Wallace moving to his outside. As we said, great speed up front, north and south, and doing a good job of moving laterally. Kirk Carruthers corralling him from behind.
Less than 12 minutes to go in this football game. In motion on the left side of the line, Scott Fleming, number 60, the left offensive tackle. The 290-pounder jumped the snap count. Another penalty.
Another of the junior college people that Al Moldy's brought to Western Michigan. The second-team All-American last year, junior college All-American, was Fleming.
Al Moldy bringing in his group in this school, playing in front of the 5th largest crowd it's ever performed in front of. Better than 60,000 fans are here. Certainly the largest it's ever played in front of south of the border. Hit from the blind side. He loses the football. That's a fumble, and it belongs to Florida State. Crushed from the blind side by Carl Simpson. Andrew Scorefar coughed up the ball. And DeAndre Clark, number 91, pounced on it. Another Seminole turnover.
Watch Simpson move upfield and get him from behind. The arm not in motion. Somebody's going to bat it here and lose it. And then comes DeAndre Clark sliding in.
That's the 4th the Noles have earned. I call it a Seminole turnover. The 4th the Noles have earned against Western Michigan. And here's Charlie Wood, big back end to run the offense. Well, hey, hey, hey to you too, DeAndre.
What happened to Hi Mom?
Football given to Jason Pierce for FSU, number 49. A man who works almost exclusively with the scout team for FSU. The 5th-string fullback. Let me see, that would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9th ball carrier today. In Pierce here handling the ball, the sophomore letterman from Satellite Beach, Florida. 6'3", 221. He lost a yard. Inside handoff, falling forward and to the 40-yard line, Tiger McMillan, the tailback. And a penalty marker. Rest back at the original line of scrimmage. The clock is still running. And now stopped with 10:26 showing.
that the beginning of a wrestling match? I didn't catch that. All right, gentlemen, break. Go to your corners.
Brad Scott saying whatever it is, decline it if it's against them. See what Mr. Knight, the referee, has to say.
Offside defense. Repeat the down.
Oh, they will repeat it. You get the penalty automatically. It'll be 2nd down and 6. And the line of scrimmage now, the Bronco 42-yard line. And all sorts of reserves in there offensively. Trotting out wide to the near side left for Florida State is Omar Ellison. Ward over the middle. He has it complete inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. On the receiving end is Johnny Clower. Clower plays on both sides of the football, doesn't he, Keith?
That he does. He's been a defensive lineman, now moved back to the tight end position because of some injuries. Clower's been slowed during most of the beginning of the season, as is Brad Lundstrom. Lundstrom's out. Tried to practice this week, couldn't even go, and that left Lonnie Johnson and Warren Hart as really the two fresh tight ends, and Clower now getting some playing time.
1st and 10 following the gain at the 31-yard line, and Tiger McMillan is in trouble. 36-yard line, that'll be a loss of 5. Following the 11-yard completion for the 1st down. Peter Tufo and Brian Wallace, a couple of linebackers, got there for Western Michigan. See the time remaining. I'll tell you, on Parents' Day, a surprisingly large majority of this crowd has stayed here in the stadium, although this one's been over for a long time.
60,913 in a horse when we started. Horse is still here, but probably 913 of the 60,000 plus are gone.
Harry Pettaway is helped off the field. We mentioned the priority now for Western Michigan to avoid injury, hopefully. Pettaway will be all right. 2nd down and 15 yards to go. Bouncing outside Pierce to the 30-yard line. He gains 6. Eric West cut him down.
Pierce there with running back coach Billy Sexton. And look, son, this is the way you do it. When you move out to the left and you bust it up to the right, that's what you got to do. Okay, folks.
Bennett, Floyd, Moore have all scored tonight. Lee has scored. McMillan has scored. Marquette Smith has scored. Jackson and Harris have both played. And now we have Pierce in the running back core as well. 3rd and 8. Slot left formation for FSU. Ward turns and has it. This is Tiger. Normally where the Noles would throw the ball, they've kept it on the ground here, and they net but a couple, and it's 4th down. Bobby Bowden has said, and said earlier this week, it's really unfair to tell your players to just shut down an offense. They all want to play. They practice hard. They go through 2-a-days. Then you get out there, and here's an athlete like Charlie Ward trying to show his stuff, and you tell him he can't throw the ball.
Well, it just can't happen. Basically, what you do is you throttle down your offense by not throwing the deeper routes or the routes that are designed to try to go for the score. But you can't take it away from the kids not to be able to do it. Here's another example, 4th and 7.
And rather than kicking a field goal, you may go for it. Well, they take a delay of game penalty instead. That'll march him back 5. And I wouldn't be surprised with Dan Mowry inconsistent here in the 2nd half. Bobby Bowden did not let him get some work.
Delay of game, offense.
Well, you kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. At this placement with a 5-yard penalty, it would be a 49-yard field goal. There would be those who would criticize Bobby and say, hey, 49-yard field goal with 7:47 to go, and you're up 58-0. That's running the score up, but a little too close to punt. You see Casey Weldon there talking with folks on the sideline. Wayne Hogan, Sports Information Director.
On the roll, Ward, run pass option. He's taken down at the 31-yard line. So the Noles do not put the ball into the air. To go over on downs to Western Michigan. We'll be back.
You are watching Prime Network, your source for sports.
a Volkswagen, Porsche, Audi, BMW, or Saab? Do you want to save money? Campbell Nelson Auto Wrecking has the biggest selection of these parts in the Northwest. Call us or come on in.
If you're looking for over 50 miles a gallon, come into Seaview Chevrolet today because we've got over 25 Metros. The best part is the price can be as low as $59.95 after all applicable rebates. That's Seaview Chevrolet, 180th and Highway 99 in Linwood.
The top movies, the top stars, they're yours when you order Showtime at HBO from Viacom Cable. Your ticket to movies you want to see, uncut and commercial-free. Add Showtime at HBO to your service at the special introductory offer of $12.95 a month for 3 months. Plus, get a remote control and access to pay-per-view movies and events. To get free home installation, call 1-800-CABLE-ME.
There's more of what you're looking for with Viacom Cable.
Top Team, the week's mightiest matchup, game plans, and strategy. It's all right here. Prime Network presents today's Top 20. Every week on Prime Network. Available on most Prime affiliates.
On first down, Andrew Scopard fails to connect with Eugene Young on the far side of the field. Clifton Abraham defensively there for FSU. It's second down. 58-0, as you saw, with 7:29 remaining in what will be victory number 3 for FSU. It's 9th straight and 13th in a row at home.
You want to throw some more numbers on it. 47th out of 52nd.
Some high percentage football, huh? Dan Footman running down Andy Wallace. Andre Wallace out of the backfield. A loss of 1. It's 3rd and 11.
Wallace had seen quite a bit of playing time in the first 2 games. He had 15 carries for 76 yards, a very respectable 5.1 yard per average, playing behind Sylvie. Now getting some additional playing time tonight here in Tallahassee.
The first string defensive nickel package returns for FSU. Carruthers, Marvin Jones, and they're coming. Carruthers was blitzing, and I think he got a piece to the running back. See who did. It's Joe Ostaszewski. Put his arm in there and tripped up Andre Wallace. It's 4th down. For Western Michigan, the clock cannot tick fast enough. And here's Rasthorn. He punts. And for Florida State, Corey Sawyer will be bringing it back on the bounce. Now Buckley had trouble, but look at Sawyer finding the alley. Midfield. 45, 41-yard line of Western Michigan.
Number 8, Corey Sawyer on the run back.
Corey Sawyer pops a big return. A 44-yard punt, a 35-yard return. There is a flag down, however. Carl Lopez on the stop for Western Michigan.
Flag back at the line of scrimmage, back on the Western Michigan 30. See James Knight discussing it with Leon Fowler, number 3 for Florida State. Florida State, I would assume, was 9.
On the kicking team, decline, first down.
They do decline the penalty. Low line drive kick, bounced about 4 or 5 times. Sawyer just picks it up, and then a good picket line. You see some good blocks on the right-hand side. Lopez just stays after him, number 13 there, and finally gets in on the tackle at the tail end.
With 6:05 remaining. The handoff goes to Felix Harris. And the muscular Felix Harris drives the ball to the 35-yard line. Well, what more could you want? This was Parents Weekend here in Tallahassee. You had a sellout house of better than 60,000 fans. It was great to see the 20th reunion of the 1971 team of former head coach Larry Jones. They all came back.
We were talking about it during halftime, Paul. It was amazing how many of the guys came back. I mean, they were stretched all the way across the field when they were introduced before the game. Looked like everybody was here.
Marquette Smith high-stepping to the 31-yard line. The point he needed to reach for a first down. And the Noles will have an open date, a luxury that they were not afforded prior to this game, before their showdown in Ann Arbor Remember the 71 team? They played in that inaugural Fiesta Bowl. They finished the season actually 8-4, 8-3 during the regular campaign. Larry Jones was on the staff.
Parcells, Steve Sloan, Bob Harbison, who's been here forever.
Ooh, J.T. Thomas. Harry Smith lives in the Tampa area.
Whitehurst, Strickland, two of the most outstanding linebackers of that era. Of course, Gary Huff.
The cat landed on his feet, but unfortunately he was back at the 35-yard line. Felix Harris has blazing speed. He runs a 4.4.
Very
You can
fast.
tell from that shot there, a massive upper body. But you have guys like Lee, Jackson, McMillan, Bennett, Floyd, Moore, Marquette Smith. They get the ball before he does. So many quality jewels in Bobby Bowden's offensive galaxy. Ward on the roll, cuts it inside to the 28. That's a first down. And the clock rolls.
Florida State just trying to keep control of the ball. That's a designed bootleg or rollout play. Just trying to convert the first down and keep the clock rolling. Of course, that's not what Charlie Ward's wanting to do.
You know he'd love to stand in the pocket and let it go or throw on the run. They were saying that his experience as a point guard, much like Kenny Felder's College World Series experience in baseball, really has helped his maturity. Breaking a tackle, Marquette Smith, and fighting for the 25-yard line. That if you were unable to have the services of Casey Weldon or enjoy the passing of Brad Johnson, we mentioned this earlier, either Ward or Felder could win for you, whether it be in Ann Arbor or against this team from Kalamazoo.
And it's really interesting, the maturity of this team and their exposure or experience to the quote-unquote big time, the number of times they've been on TV, all the telecasts that we've done here with Sunshine, and the fact that they really are not in awe of anything any longer. The Florida State program to the point where they can go anywhere, anytime, any place and play with anybody, and on any given night, defeat anybody.
An official timeout, so Eric Ferguson, an injured defensive end, could get out of a game, and Brian Wallace could replace him, number 89. Second down and 7. Here comes Harris, spinning to the 24, maybe a yard. But he stayed in bounds, and the clock continues to roll with less than 3 minutes remaining. Rufus Harris tackled Felix Harris.
You see the Ward chant and the fans getting into enjoying Parrots weekend.
You and I are just about the only two guys here that did not play tonight.
And I'm glad for that. As hot as it is and as overweight as I am, I'd last about 2 plays.
Marquette! Hello! 7-yard line. He scored 1 touchdown tonight. That came in this quarter. Steve Hawkins grabbed him by the jersey, nearly tore it off of it. It's first and goal FSU with 2:10 remaining.
Great night if you're a Florida State fan. A great night if you're looking at trying to watch your young talent mature. You see Marquette get in the open field. Hawkins grabs him by the jersey. Remember, you can't have the tearaway jerseys any longer in college football. And Smith at 190 pounds swings down.
He picked up 17 there. He's rushed for 53, and here is Harris. They're trying to get him a score. They've given him the ball 5 out of the last 6 times. Jeff LaDuke knocked him to the ground. 90 seconds and counting.
If you like sports in the South, it's been a great evening. Florida State up. Braves won today. Rubber game of the Dodger Braves series tomorrow up in Atlanta.
Our thanks to John Beatty, the Sports Information Director at Western Michigan, and to Wayne Hogan and his SID staff here at Florida State. Marquette Smith, can he score twice? No, to the 4. Thanks as well to Bob Goyd, who joined us at halftime. A minute remaining in this one. Florida State's record will stand at an unblemished 3-0. Western Michigan tastes defeat for the first time this season. The Broncos will return home at 2-1. Upcoming games, perhaps we'll have the Orangemen against the Garnet and Gold October 5th. And certainly the Blue Raiders will be on our air on the 19th. Third and goal at the 4. Marquette Smith back to the 10-yard line like he was a rubber ball bounding off a wall. Jeff Aller, the linebacker, knocked him down. The Noles don't have to run another play, and probably won't. That should do it. 58-0. Your score in Tallahassee, Florida, before 60,000 plus on Sunshine Network. Next up, the Wolverines in Ann Arbor. And fellas, we wish you luck. The Noles get the play off. They run the reverse to Knox. And Knox will go down at the 14-yard line. And this route is over. A taste of razzle-dazzle on the final play, but it was fundamental football. A well-executed game plan and a team that had its priorities in order. Western Michigan this week and the Wolverines in 2 weeks. For Bobby Bowden, victory number 208 moves him past Jeff Sneeling. Number 7 all time among college coaches in terms of victories, and he trails only Joe Paterno with wins among active coaches. More from Doak Campbell Stadium right after this.
Hi, I'm Don Poyer. Join me every month for Husky Profile. Husky Profile examines the sports, the coaches, the student athletes, and the people and programs of the University of Washington that make it one of the premier collegiate athletic forums in the country. Husky Profile, only on Prime Sports Northwest. Husky Profile, brought to you by Rainier Beer and by Dairy Queen.
How many times have you said, if I only had the money, I'd own my own business, buy my dream house, live a better life? Money is available. So if you need money for any reason, the Money Catalog shows you where to find it. 220 pages list over 5,000 sources of money. Names, addresses, and phone numbers of the people to contact to get the money you need. The Money Catalog can be yours for this low price, and that includes shipping. If you're serious about finding money, call this toll-free number. Call now and you'll receive this bonus, How to Borrow Money from a Bank, the book that shows you how to get your loan approved. Take the first step toward a better life today. Call now and order the Money Catalog, your access to the money you need. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-743-1707 and use your credit card for 3 easy payments of $22.95 plus the $3.50 service charge, or send check or money order for $69.95 to the address on your screen.
Hi, I'm Warren Moon of the Houston Oilers. The quarterback depends on good protection. He can't do it alone. Kids can't do it alone either. They need the help of both parents. If you owe child support, please pay it faithfully. Don't neglect your own kids. Without support, they can end up on the bottom of the pile. And believe me, that's no fun.
Services cost $1 in Idaho and are free in Montana and Washington. Contact your local agency for more information about their program.
It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, 38-0 at intermission, 20 more points in the final 2 stanzas, 58-0, the shutout verdict this evening for #1 ranked Florida State over Western Michigan. We welcome you back. The score was impressive, yes. The stats just as impressive, too.
Well, I think if you're Florida State, you're very happy with the way both sides of the ball played tonight, both offensively and defensively. You see the numbers there, 142 yards for Western Michigan, 459 yards for the Seminoles. And I think you ought to like the turnovers. Florida State back in the plus column there.
Yeah, he played everybody, did Coach Bobby Bowden, certainly on the offensive side of the football. Defensively, Barry Milligan, he used a lot of the regulars in the second half, working on different coverages for in 2 weeks, as Coach Bowden called it, the game of the year, the early part of the season. It's FSU and the Michigan Wolverines in Ann Arbor.
You're exactly right, Paul. That will be a huge game. Mickey Andrews very pleased with the way his youngsters played in the second half, particularly the ones in the secondary. And in that game in 2 weeks, the Seminoles will go to Ann Arbor, barring any practice problems, completely healthy. Mike Morris, the All-American offensive guard, will be back. Had they played Michigan tonight, Morris would have played. He'll be back there for sure. Also, Eric Gibbs, the offensive tackle, will be back. Willie Paldo still a little tenuous, but the two guys they really need, Morris and Gibbs, will be back in Ann Arbor.
You got any tickets to that one, Barry? How about you, Keith? I don't. Here is your ticket for the game of the week on Sunshine Network. Texas A&M, the Aggies come a-calling on the Tulsa's Golden Hurricane, coached by Dave Rader, next Saturday, 1 o'clock. We are invited to join us, and perhaps we'll be along for Syracuse at FSU, Middle Tennessee, MTSU, and FSU, undoubtedly, on October 19th. As the band plays on, your final once again this evening on Parents' Night. Sweet music. Florida State wins it 58-0.
Eight in the morning with my cereal. Oh yeah, I get a big bowl like a Jethro Bodine bowl and put